Hello guys, welcome or welcome back to BnB Anime. I am Blue, and I am here with the extravagant Brad today.
Oh, look at you. You only had to pause for 2 seconds this time.
Just a quick pause this time.
I am so pleased. How are you?
I'm doing well. I've got a nice chunky bruise on my arm from having blood taken yesterday. So, that is great. I enjoy that. Every time I bend my elbow, I get a nice sensation of ouch.
You see, I totally relate, but mine isn't just my elbow, it's any time I lift my arms.
Oh yeah, you've got a bad sunburn, don't you?
Oh, it's so bad. Now, granted, thankfully, the top of my head is healed for the most part, but yeah, anytime I lift my arms, I'm in a big sensation of ow myself.
Yeah. One place I have never burnt is the top of my head.
Well, look how much hair you have versus how none hair I have, because that's good English.
I could have sworn that you had 6 feet of luscious auburn locks.
You would be mistaken. Now, I wish my beard were 6 feet of auburn locks, because that would be amazing, and I would probably be kicked out of my current dwelling for having that, but that beard would be amazing.
Wouldn't it get in the way with everything? I mean, there's a certain amount of hair that is, like, once it gets to a certain point, isn't it just obnoxious?
Now my mustache can get very obnoxious, but my beard, nah fam. Think about it, I could be the ultimate non-weeb. Who needs an anime waifu body pillow when I have just a giant beard?
Would you braid it?
Honestly, yes. Because could you imagine, like, if somebody was trying to fuck with me and I just whipped him with the beard, just beat the shit out of him with it?
How heavy do you expect it to be?
Wait, what?
Heavy! Like, you're gonna carry that around on your face every day.
Okay, I already carry around a shit ton of weight anyway because I'm fat. It comes with the territory.
But, like, on your jaw, you just have your mouth open all the time. The weight's just dragging your jaw down.
Nah, jaw muscles.
You don't like the crimson chin.
Yeah, I would have, like, the most, like, muscular chin out of anybody on the face of the planet. Oh, that would be amazing. I would love this.
Okay, this is a serious question that I have. Why is it that every, like, really butch anime guy with the chin dimple, whenever you see them, they have the most gorgeous hair?
I don't know.
Because I can't think of a time when there's been an anime male with, like, that jaw, that chin, that doesn't have fantastic hair.
I mean, at that point, I think they're just trying to make the entire focal point of that character their face. So just throw every single, like, extravagant animation style to that character. Just go, get at it, go.
Yeah, give them waist length, luscious, sparkly, gorgeous hair.
Oh yeah, of course. Why not?
Yeah.
At that point, just throw it all at them.
But anyways, before we get into the meat and potatoes of today's topic, which is, of course, Food Wars, all 4 first seasons. All 4.
All 4 first seasons. Brilliant.
All 4 seasons that are currently complete is what I meant to say. We are going to be doing it slightly differently. We're not going to be going in depth into each episode like we normally do. We're just going to be doing a quick overview of each season and then talking about our favourite parts from each season as well. I do have some notes on the key points of each episode, so I can reference them throughout. But yeah, we're not going to be diving into that completely. But before we go, like, crazy into all of that, how are you, like, other than the sunburn?
I'm great. I've got to spend time with puppies, so that's been absolutely wonderful.
That's good.
I've been getting a lot better at Siege. That's what a lot of my spare time has been going into because, you know, I've been, for some reason, in the mood to just tear people apart in a FPS. It's been fun.
No, that is fun. I haven't had any spare time to do anything. If I did, I would probably end up just watching more anime, to be honest.
I mean, to be fair, I've watched so much anime since our last recording session. Whenever we get to that bit here in a minute, you'd better strap yourself in We're in for a talk.
Yeah, I haven't managed to watch much outside of what we are covering. Have you? Yeah, have you read anything new? Any manga new? Any manga new? Any new manga? I know that you were like trying to get into reading more manga recently.
So I have been reading Dr. Stone, but that's mainly because I got that massive stack of Dr. Stone manga in. Mm-hmm. So that's been my manga reading. What about you?
I actually haven't had much time. I've been messing around with more video game stuff. I'm helping on a project with designing a video game with like the level design and like the storyline and stuff like that. So I've been trying to, and it's kind of like a retro inspired kind of video game that we're doing just for a fun project. So I've been trying to do a lot of research on things like that and the information that I need for it. So that's kind of where all my spare time has been. So I've been playing some like random visual novels and random like things that have random video games on Steam, stuff that's like the free or very cheap, just so that I can kind of get a broader perspective on how people show storylines in video games now compared to how people showed them like back in the 80s and early 90s, you know? Mm-hmm. It's been a fun kind of research project, but it's also been making me dive back into my witchy roots. I don't actually know if the podcast knows this, but my granddad was a white witch. Which is an insane thing to say, but he was, and he did a lot of like healing and experimenting with things like that back in the day. And when I was very little, I grew up around that, and so I've always been kind of interested in that kind of stuff, just because it was kind of like the only religion my family really ever expressed was him being witchy. So that's kind of like where that went for me as a child. So yeah, I have a lot of books and stuff on that, and the specific project that I'm working on has a lot of magical elements to it, and so I've actually been able to apply some like herbalism stuff from that lore of, you know, the zodiac and moon phases and harvesting plants with your left hand with a bone handle, you know, like bone-handled knife, that kinds of stuff, actually applying it into the video game world, which is very bizarre, and I don't know, but it's been really, really fun to do, and I'm excited to continue doing it while I work on this project.
Well, that's awesome. Mm-hmm. I definitely look forward to seeing how the project progresses, because I know at least a little bit about it.
Mm-hmm, yeah. I don't know how much I can actually talk about right now, so I'm trying to be as vague as possible, but also telling you about my life. Giving you life updates. But yeah, I'm sure that you guys will be some of the first folk to know as it progresses, but it's very early stages right now, just planning and designing and coming up with everything. So it's definitely a long-term project, but yeah, I'm excited about it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anything else fun going on in the world of Blue?
I got diagnosed with carpal tunnel on my right wrist, which is fantastic considering I'm an artist.
Ooh, that's a heckin' oof.
Yeah, right-hand dominant artist, video game streamer, like everything type, like what do you not do with your dominant hand? Like everything. I write notebooks worth of information on anime on a weekly basis. Yeah, now I have carpal tunnel in my wrist. I've had to wear a wrist brace to bed every night, and I have to for a month to try and like stabilize my wrist for at least some portion of the day. Mm-hmm. And do you know how hard it is to fall asleep with a wrist brace on?
No.
It's so hard. Like having a big, solid, uncomfortable thing attached to your arm that you're not used to being there, and then it's like, okay, now relax.
I mean, hey, you got this, I believe.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm also, because I'm gonna also blame this on ADHD, but I don't know if it is ADHD. It could just be the fact that I'm incapable. But I've forgotten to wear it. 5 days ago is when I was told by the doctor that I have to wear it. I've worn it 2 out of the 5 nights that I was supposed to have worn it. I'm doing fantastic.
Do I need to just message you, like, after every stream and be like, put your damn wrist brace on?
I know. It's just like, put it on now so that when you go to sleep at like 4 a.m. or whenever it is that you finally fall asleep, you have it on already and you don't like remember it. Because like I never just take it off when I wake up so it's on my bedside table. No, that's too logical for me. I move around and then leave it somewhere. And then I don't know where it is. And then I don't see it before I go to bed. So I don't remember to put it on. And then I wake up in the morning and I'm like, my wrist hurts. And I'm like, I wonder why. Probably because I slept with it tucked under my neck in a weird position all night.
Good job.
I know. I'm...
Best of jobs.
It's a... Uh-huh.
It's a uh-huh.
It's an uh-huh. That's how it is.
Oh, me. You poor soul.
But yeah, that's about it for me.
I have no fun stories to tell. My life has literally been consumed with treating the top of my head, tennis, river, and anime. So much anime.
I just got the image when you said treating the top of your head. I literally got the image of you like buying it a bouquet of flowers and a box of chocolates. Like that's what I got in my head. It wasn't like putting cream on it. It was like getting your head a treat. Like that's.
Yes, that's what the top of my head needs right now. It deserves to be courted.
It does. It deserves a bouquet of flowers. I think everyone needs a bouquet of flowers every now and again, and I feel like the top of your head deserves one.
I mean, you're right. Okay, so here's the thing, because I've seen things going around of how men are typically the ones, like, whenever they, take their partner out, they'll, like, get them flowers and all this stuff.
Yeah.
But when do men get flowers?
Yeah, men should get flowers more. Like, I don't know why unless you're, like, allergic. But, like, I bought you a bouquet of flowers. Poof, swallowed up.
That sounds like what would happen to Tree.
That's ironic. That's really ironic.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. My poor best friend. Like, if he were to ever get a bouquet of flowers, this man is basically allergic to everything. Poor guy.
Aww.
Love him to death.
That would actually happen to my brother as well. My brother is so allergic to pollen that in primary school, he was dissecting a flower, I think it was a daffodil, for science class. And he swelled up so bad that they sent him out of the classroom. They made him ice his face for the rest of the day, and he ended up getting sent home early. And then when I then took that same science class 2 years later, they kicked me out. Because his reaction was so bad that they wouldn't let me in just in case. No, like, you can't dissect the flower. And I'm like, I don't have that bad of a pollen allergy. And they're like, your brother said that too. Go away.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they remembered that far out to just kick you out.
Yeah,
of
no.
letting that happen.
Genuinely that happened. So that's a story I haven't thought of in a long time, but that made me laugh a lot.
That is amazing. That's unfortunate, but that is amazing.
Yeah, so I never got to dissect a flower in school. Sad.
I mean, I would say, I don't know, I hated science. I fucking detest science with every part of my being.
Really? I quite like science, but I'm not, like, good at paying attention.
See, I wasn't in school either. Like, I didn't, like, we've had this conversation. School just was not for me. Like, it just didn't interest me in the slightest. If teachers could somehow grab my attention and make the subject interesting, like my history teachers in high school, like, that would have been fine. But no, like, my teachers almost seemed like they didn't necessarily give a shit most of the time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my worst subject, grades-wise, was absolutely science. Absolutely.
See, mine was that too, but it's because, like I said, I refused to do my fucking homework.
Oh yeah, I didn't do anything either. I sat in the back of the classroom and literally zoned out the entire time, and then when they were like, have you done your worksheet? I'm like, no. I just didn't do it. It's really not good. If there are kids in school, or not necessarily kids, because you can be in school at any age, but like, if you're in school, don't do what we did, okay? Like, especially if you're paying money for school.
So my one memory of science class was freshman year. We took physical science and we had a sub, and literally his motto was, I don't give a shit what you do. I get paid either way. So me and a buddy of mine played slaps for the entire hour and a half period.
Wow.
The only reason this still sticks in my brain is because after that happened, the next day he came to school in a cast. And my head immediately went to, oh my God.
I broke you.
I broke his hand. But so what had happened was he was playing basketball after school and somebody passed the ball to him. And his hand had been weakened to the point to where, like, the pass was a little bit too hard and it broke him.
So what, did he sprain his hand? Did he break it? Like, what was the injury?
It was a break. It was legitimately a break.
So you must have caused minor fractures in his hand and then...
I guess we both, like, caused minor fractures to each other because I shit you not, my left hand for about 3 or 4 days looked like a muffin.
Well, now you're going to have, like, a super strong left hand. Now all those bones are reinforced.
I mean, I guess. Now, if only Deku had learned this shit before he decided to become a hero, he'd be a lot better
Honestly,
off.
He just needed to play Knuckles or Slaps or whatever.
Yeah, because now he just constantly keeps breaking his shit.
Have you ever played Knuckles, or did you only do Slaps?
I only did Slaps because I'd never wanted to end up with my hand being bloodied.
I did Knuckles.
So Slaps was just one of those things that was just like, yeah, seems easy enough. And it was just the palm or the top of my hand getting thwacked, not everything else.
You've genuinely just made me realise what that scar on my hand is from. I'm not kidding when I say for years I've looked at a scar on the pointer finger or the first finger of my left hand and been so confused as to where that scar came from for years. I remember now. My dad and I played Knuckles.
Discoveries with Blue.
Right? My dad's left-handed, so...
Oh.
Yeah.
That explains everything.
Yeah, so I've got a scar on my knuckle from that. Fun!
Yeah.
Yeah. Have we got any news this week?
We do have some news.
News.
Yes, news. So, Netflix is going to be streaming The Seven Deadly Sins Imperial Wrath of the Gods will officially be streaming on Netflix as of August 6th.
Right, okay.
It initially premiered on television in Japan in October of last year and ended in March of this year. But yeah, I gave up on Seven Deadly Sins after season 1. I know some people who absolutely love it, but considering they changed studios, I don't know how I feel about it.
I know that I watched the first season. I have zero recollection of it other than there being a giant girl and underwear thief.
I don't remember there being an underwear thief. I think you're thinking of Konosuba with Kazuma stealing everybody's underwear.
Oh, yeah, I probably got them confused. I remember there being a giant girl.
Yep, definitely giant girl. That was a thing.
And, yeah, I don't really remember anything other than that. I know I watched the first season. I don't think I watched the second season. Because I watched the first season when I don't think there was a second season out yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched it like right as the second season was about to start coming out. And once I heard that the second season kind of fell flat because they started to bring in power levels. And I've said this before, the only show that I'll even remotely accept that with is Dragon Ball. Because after that, it just starts getting really confusing. I'm just like, nope, not fam. Not for me. I'm out. But second piece of news, G-Kids has canceled the Children of the Sea film's theatrical screenings in August.
Oh.
Now, it's still set to release on Blu-ray and DVD in September. However, I guess just with everything going on in the world, they're like, nope, not happening. Not today.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, it makes sense. Because although, like, the majority of the world has kind of gotten COVID under, like, wraps and, like, has kind of figured it out.
So, yeah, it makes sense. Now is not the best time to reopen theaters.
Yeah, agreed.
But also, doing a theatrical screening before the film drops, I kind of question that a little bit. But who am I to judge? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm quite interested to see how this affects cinemas in general, because they were already sort of dying a death in the sense that they were so expensive to go to, and because you can stream movies from your home so much faster nowadays anyways, like you don't have to pay for, you don't even have to pay to rent it, because like before Netflix was a big thing, you had like Shore on Demand and stuff where you could like pay to rent a movie digitally for like 24 hours or 48 hours or whatever, which is effectively just like a digital blockbuster. But then that died, and then like Netflix and everything started booming.
Mm-hmm.
And now, because of the pandemic, they're doing full theatre releases on those at-home streaming sites. So you're not even getting like a pre-showing like you would do at a theatre, like before it's out on DVD.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me wonder if like this is kind of the death of cinema. And if it is, like what should be done to revolutionize, because it's so expensive to go to the cinema, like to buy your ticket and then to go get snacks or whatever because you're not allowed to bring anything in, even though most people already do. But like it's so expensive to go to the cinema, and why would you pay $50 to go to the cinema when you can like just watch it at home for your $10 a month?
Now, I tell you what should happen. Drive-in theaters. Those should make a comeback.
I agree. I love a good drive-in theatre. Sometimes they set up temporary ones at the Walmart during summer out here in where I'm at in Canada.
See, our local park will set up one. Now, it's not a drive-in, but, you can sit out on the lawn, bring long chairs, bring your kids, and they'll, like, show films during the summer and fall. But I think it should be a thing. Like, bring drive-in theaters back. That would be cool.
Yeah. I think that's, because my thought was to turn them more into, like, theatre. Like, when you go to see, like, something at the West End or at Broadway or something, like, it's much more of an event. And I feel like you could do that with cinema as well and make it more, back when, like, what cinema was, when cinema was first invented, make it more of a thing rather than, I'm just going to go catch a movie, because that's not going to hold anymore. So I feel like instead of doing popcorn and sweets and fizzy drinks, you should do more cafe coffees, maybe some soft pastries. Obviously, you still want to avoid loud food and anything that's too messy. But I feel like some pasties and things would work really well. Like warmer food. Maybe have like a dress code. And then like make it much more of a luxury experience. And make it worth the price. Because right now it's not worth the price to go to a cinema for what it is. But if you go there and you get good quality food and you get to have vendors coming around giving you coffee or even serving alcohol, having like wine, obviously you'd have to restrict it, and then having adult nights where it's over 18 only, even if the movie isn't rated R. So it's like you could go see the new Frozen movie or whatever, but it's an adult only night. So you don't have to go catch a Disney movie when all of the kids are in the audience and then watch a movie with a crying baby in the seat the whole time. Like you can go there and go on an adult night. And then you could do that with, I think that's where they should go. I think they should specialize it a lot more.
There are some theaters that are like that, or at least ones that serve hot food and alcohol and everything else. Chattanooga, the next town over, they do have like one of their theaters. And I think, no, it wasn't the one that we went to go see Weathering with You at. It was something else. But we had went and seen something, and my buddies got beer and churros and everything else. And I thought that was a really nifty experience, because I didn't know that there were theaters like that. So being able to go and experience that is cool.
There is a theatre in the city round by me that sells like hot dogs and stuff. But again, it's still like fast food. And in my mind, I think it should be more luxury,
Oh, yeah.
Not necessarily like
lobster
gourmet
and shit like that.
Yeah, not a full meal. But maybe even having like china cups that the coffee is given to you in. Like you have it in a mug as opposed to, and then have like proper little tables and space out the seats more so you can group up in pockets as opposed to being mixed in with everyone. Like that's how, maybe even have like seats that cost more than other seats, so nobody's fighting over the middle row, halfway up the aisle, you could have it be like actually separate it out more.
Well, a lot of our theaters, or at least the ones around us, have changed up their interiors and remodeled to where they have like electronic reclining seats. But since they've introduced those, and also with the introduction of being able to buy tickets online, you have to actually select where you're going to sit.
Yeah.
So that,
I think that's a good move.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because it gets rid of all the fighting. Like nobody can be pissed about where they're sitting. Like if you don't like where you're sitting, then go to a different showing. So it's definitely helped a lot with that, and it's a vast improvement because the seating is now a lot better. And back to the theater that I was talking about before, like they've leveled out the ground where it's not like super high tier seating. So it's much more comfortable for everybody to sit and look to where you're not like craning your neck even if you're in the front row.
Yeah.
But it's definitely an overall better experience. Like I will totally drive the 30 or 45 minutes to get to that theater versus going to the one here in town just because, yeah.
Yeah, and I 100% think that that's where it should go. Obviously, that does isolate things like those massive cinema companies because their biggest seller is that they've got the movie first. So it doesn't matter to them your viewing experience, really. They're just trying to get people in the theatre on opening night as they have an exclusive showing, but I feel like that isn't going to have, like, you can't have that be the priority anymore. You can't have that be the selling point that we have it first, that we have it on opening night, we have enough seats, we have 7 like theatres playing the same movie so everyone can get in, you know, that can't be the priority for them anymore. I feel like you could even have cinemas that show movies that aren't newly released, you know, have them be like, oh, we're gonna show specialty movies, or like for you, your one that's showing anime movies. I feel like that's where they need to go. They really need to specialize and even become like a anime movie theater that only shows anime movies, or be like a retro movie theater where they show, or like indie movie theater where they go to like Toronto Film Festival and show all the short films and stuff like that. That's where I feel like they ought to go and really hone in on the movie people as opposed to trying to appeal to the mass people, because I feel like you could, if you elevate the experience, you isolate your audience to specifically who you want, and you then have the ability to then raise your prices to then justify, because you can justify it with the backing of the fact that you have all of the specific things that your audience wants to give them an exclusive experience, and have it be so much more of an experience as opposed to just like a weekly thing to do. You know, because people don't go to the theatre weekly, so why should you go to the cinema weekly, you know?
Well, I think, too, a lot of that would also be on the film production companies as well, and not make the rights to those films so expensive for theaters to show. Because that's the reason why ticket prices to go see films has went up a lot, and that's also why they have to raise the prices on concessions to the point where they are now. Because it's just so damn expensive to show things like Avengers and all that. It was expensive for them to get the rights to go to even be able to show the shit, so therefore it's just costing the theaters a shit ton of money, which will in turn cost people a shit ton of money to go see it.
Yeah.
And it's truly become a situation of quantity over, you know, quality.
Yeah. But it that also doesn't help in the fact that the movie industry is losing so much money in sales because they're not getting DVD sales anymore. And so they're having to really rely on box office sales to make back the money that they've invested in the movie initially, because they can't rely on those afterthought sales of the DVD release.
And that would be a thought too, like make the DVD experience more, I guess, personalized again, like add all the like behind the scenes shit again and whatnot, because that was some of my favorite part about like buying DVDs was getting that shit. And also I'm really excited because I've pre-ordered Your Name and Weathering With You in the steelbook cases, because those designs are just absolutely stunning. Do more special edition type shit. I know it's a little bit more expensive for the packaging. I know the steelbooks have to be a little bit more expensive, but with those exclusive designs, I just shelled out $30 a piece for those on what would cost me $10 to get it digitally, but I'm willing to pay that just because it's nice and exclusive and looks cool as shit.
Or like I know a lot of like records and CD sales, they also do that as well. Like when you buy the album, you also get a digital code to then be able to have a digital download. So you can buy the DVD and then have a digital copy of it as well, which I think is really smart. Also, I really like the idea of having the exclusive content. I remember my copy of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets actually has a DVD game on it where you're in like the cart, the Gringotts cart, and you're traveling through the tunnels and going through the world of Harry Potter and then going even through the Chamber of Secrets and everything, and you have to press the buttons on the remote of your control.
Oh
the,
my
like,
god.
Arrow buttons.
I remember that. You have brought back a memory of mine because of that. I had completely forgotten.
I used to play that all the time, and it was like the only reason why I watched the Chamber of Secrets, because it was my least favourite film, was so that I could play the game.
And the Lion King DVD had like a fun little mini game on it too, of where you were going around and trying to avoid the hyenas and everything. Oh, I'd completely forgotten about that. Oh my god.
So yeah, that's something that they could add back to give it more exclusive content.
Yeah, just do shit like that. Because, man, like, that was the good old days. I feel old saying that, but I don't give a shit. That was awesome.
Right? I know. I know.
Miss those days. But moving on to the next bit of news.
Tangent.
just a little bit of one.
Yeah.
But we always got to rant and rave on something, whether it be the educational system, now that
we nearly got into it this episode. Luckily, we kind of just skimmed it.
Yeah, just a little bit. But that wasn't more the educational system. That was just our hatred for certain shit. Science.
That's just us sucking at science.
Yeah, that was just that. Hands down. Maybe that was our problem with the educational system. We just fucking
We're
suck.
just dumb.
So, Netflix will be debuting Agretsuko Season 3 on August 27th. For those who are not familiar with Agretsuko, think little fox, real adorable, heavy metal screamo.
Dude.
Things that you don't think would go together, and it's a massively hilarious time. I enjoy that show a lot.
You just reminded me of something really stupid.
Okay.
My cousin is colorblind. My brother's also colorblind. It is very prominent in our family. And he used to be a web designer. And also, as well as being a website designer, he was in a heavy metal band.
Mm-hmm.
So they were like, we need to promote our heavy metal band. Could you design a website for us? And he's like, yeah, I can do that. No problem. And so he goes through and he designs a site for them. And then they go and they take a look at it. And it's all pink. The whole site is pink. And they're like, why did you make it pink? And he's like, what do you mean pink? It's grey. And he's like, no, the whole site's pink. And he's like, oh shit. So it's like this skulls and tattoos and hard people. And it's just all pink.
That is amazing. I hope they left it that way.
I don't actually know. I don't know what resulted from it.
Because that's amazing. Like, I think that would increase the band's popularity at that point. Like, way to buck the trend, guys.
Yeah.
And that wraps up that news. However, I did have some research done between the last podcast and this one about popular names in Japan.
Oh, yeah. Right, yeah.
And, well, I'm not going to say I did it, because I'm lazy as shit. I did not do it. I had our friend Janessa do it.
Mm-hmm.
Popular Japanese names for girls, you have Ai, Yoko, Hitomi, and your name, Ao.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Blue in Japanese is Ao.
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah.
So that's why
cool.
I've been calling you that in your streams, and you've paid absolutely no attention to that.
Yeah,
You don't pay me any mind anyway. I get it. It's fine. At this point,
I'm so used to your shenanigans. I'm just like,
I've purposefully made it my point to try to derail your shit. And at this point, I'm just ignored.
Yeah. There's a couple of you in stream that I just don't even read your messages when you're in chat. I just see your name and I'm like, skip.
I've noticed. I have noticed.
I do go back and check them.
Only when I call you on it.
Sometimes I read that. I don't know, it depends on even being a butthead.
I'm hurt. And as far as boy names go, you have Sosuke, Hiro, Yuto, and Arata.
Interesting.
Which Arata sounds really familiar from a show, and I can't remember what it is.
Isn't it in Food Wars?
No.
The guy with glasses? Who's Maruto? Is it his first name, Maruto?
I don't think so.
Research Society. Maybe I'm just making shit up.
Maybe. You've watched it more recently than I have.
You expect me to retain information? It's why I take notes, because my brain is a literal sieve. everything just falls right through it. That didn't make any sense. Sieves catch stuff. My brain is a literal hole. Stuff falls right through it. Sieves catch things. That's the point of them, is to filter. Yeah.
Yeah, I have no clue. I've seen the show through twice, and I have no idea.
I don't know either, mate. I don't rightly know, Chuck.
Oh, I have realized who it is. The main character from Real Life. His name is Arata. That's what it was. I have figured it out. I am big brain. Which I highly recommend we cover that at some point, because Real Life is a phenomenal slice of life anime. I feel like that's all I've been watching outside of the shit that we cover is slice of life anime. I've just been on a slice of life binge.
I love slice of life. It's one of my favorite genres of anime, because it's just how many times do I say this? I love anime. I love content where it's just like a peek into somebody else's life. What I'm realizing is I'm incredibly nosy.
Blue is nosy. Confirmed.
Yeah. So, because, some of my favourite books and movies and, content of all time are just things where it's just normal people living everyday lives, and I'm like, this is entertaining. Why is that entertaining? It shouldn't be.
I don't.
But I would gladly watch, people just having a conversation. I do all the time. It's a podcast.
Wait, I just remembered the other Arata that you and I both know.
Yeah.
Chihaya.
Oh, duh.
Yeah, big brain.
There's somebody else. I'm gonna Google it. I'm just gonna search Arata and see who comes up. Images. Chihaya. Oh, Psychopaths.
Never seen it.
I have. Well, duh. Maybe it is just the one from Chihaya that I'm thinking of. Oh my god. Okay, wasn't expecting to see fanfiction pics. Just gonna put my phone down there.
Okay, look. I realize how in the gutter the last episode got. But no need to be pulling up fanfic pics while we're sitting here trying to record.
I just searched the name and clicked on Google Images, okay?
Yeah,
just
sure.
See...
Yeah, mm-hmm. I'll believe every word.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's... Oh...
Blue's ruined for the rest of the podcast now.
It's not my fault you paused there, okay?
Nope, it's your fault for going there. Completely, totally, 100%.
Well, fine, I take responsibility.
Nope, there you go. I'm so proud.
Still, though. It was mad jokes.
Oh yeah, I have been teased relentlessly because of this shit. However, I don't care. It's your brain that went there, not mine.
Hey, I just filled in the blank, okay?
Yeah, because you couldn't wait for me to finish my statement.
Who pauses for dramatic effect after they say something so phallic?
Look, it was not my intention to even pause there. Okay, your boy has to breathe. It's what I do. Okay, I need to breathe to be able to live. It is a natural thing.
I don't think breathing is necessary.
I'm so done with you. Baka.
We need to get into it, mate. We've got so much to discuss.
I hope you guys brought snacks for this podcast, because by the time we're done, I'm going to need snacks.
Yeah, that is one thing about Shokugeki no Soma Food Wars. You will be so hungry watching this show every single episode.
Yes. Like, the food that they cook, all of it looks amazing. Fine Bros did 2 try not to eat challenges where they recreated the food from the shows. I don't know if you've seen it.
I have.
Oh, all the stuff recreated looks so good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm big jelly.
It's so much of the food in this show is meat-based. And I've been vegetarian for the past 3 years. And oh my god, does it make me question my life choices.
I know Japan is already making you question your life choices enough as it is.
I know.
So I am big sorry for this show.
I'm so committed to being vegetarian at this point. Years of my life have gone into this lifestyle. And I watch this show and I'm like, screw it.
So, if one of the characters of the show, like, should we, live in a reality to where these things are possible, and they presented you with one of those dishes, would you break your vegetarian vow for this?
It would entirely depend on where the meat came from. If it was from, like, Yuki, who breeds her own chickens and stuff, like, in the dormitory out back, then yeah. Because, like, I know that those lived a good life. I know that they were taken care of. I know that they were, like, appreciated for their sacrifice. But if it was, like, Soma when he goes and gets some bargain meat from the store and then turns it into, like, some fabulous gourmet meal, probably not, because I'm not such a fan of mass farming. But
yeah. I feel like that would be the one that would be the most appetizing to try.
But that's the one that I have the biggest issue with.
It's like, how could you take something that's the cheapest possible thing and then turn it into, like, one of the best things ever? Okay, so since we're on the point of it now, I'll go ahead and talk about it. So my favorite dish from the show was the Chaplin steak bowl that he made.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that is the one that if I could try anything out of the show, that's the one that looks the most enticing to me.
For me, it is the 7 vegetable, like, square thing from when Megami was in the Shokugeki.
Mm-hmm.
I want to try hers and I want to try his. I want to try both of those because they look very odd. I have never seen anything like that before. And the fact that they're savory confuses me. I'm genuinely confused and I want to taste it.
Yeah, and it's one of those things to where, like I said, whenever I was talking about the Fine Bros video, how in the show they talked about it tasted like a mother's cooking or like a mother's love.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the Fine Bros video, they said the same thing. Like they tried it and they were just talking about how that's what it tasted like. I was like, how? It's vegetables. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, I also wouldn't mind trying some of the really unusual things that happen later on in, like, the 4th season specifically.
Mm.
There's a lot of very unorthodox, in the late 3rd season as well, there's a lot of very unorthodox ingredients that are used. And, I want to try, the curry as well. Like, I want to smell that.
Oh, yeah, because Hayama's curry cooking is, just the way he spices things. I want that. As somebody who loves to spice food, I need that in my life.
Yeah. But anyway, we have jumped over a huge segment. I haven't even done the overview of this show yet. So
I haven't even talked about the background.
Right, yeah, if you have no idea about Shokugeki no Soma, if you're just listening to this because it's the next episode of our podcast release, you're probably thoroughly confused. I mean, Food Wars is kind of a self-explanatory title, but it is literally that. It is a culinary school, high school, although it does have a junior, it is a, what do they call it, elevator school? An elevator school. Escalator school. Escalator, elevator. One of them. Where they have a junior high and then they have a high school. And it's based around the high school. And it's a culinary school where it's the top culinary school in Japan. All the people that are all the kids that are associated with the highest levels of, like, industry professionals, their kids all go to this school. So it's elites going to this school. And it is specifically about Yuki no Soma, who is a diner brat, going to this school and fighting his way in amongst the battles of food, which is called a Shokugeki. It's a one-on-one, usually, battle with 3 judges, a panel of 3 judges, to figure out whose dish is best, and it's a fight, and the whole school is ran by this group of Elite 10, which are these top 10 students that have fought their way through all of these Shokugeki fights. And from these Elite 10, they are like the board of directors, I guess, of most, like, other schools or companies or whatever, and they decide everything. And yeah, so it's about, like, it's such an elite school that, like, the percentage of people that graduate is, like, what did they say, like 1% of students that come here in their first year actually graduate from the school or something. Like, it's very, very difficult to graduate. People get expelled all the time. So yeah, that is kind of like the the background of it, the very basic information, is just Yukihira trying to battle, and he's quite cocky, is our Yukihira. So battling his way through all of these Shokugekis and trying to survive high school.
And it's so weird to have a main character be thrown into so many situations and be as cocky as they are, but it works.
Yeah, he is mad cocky. But he's still so lovable. I know I reference it a lot, but I think it genuinely reminds me of Food Wars. Food Wars. Of course it does. Prince of Tennis. Jeez, my brain. Because the main character of Prince of Tennis is also this kind of really cocky, better than everyone in his own mindset, with a really good chef for a dad. Actually, there's a lot of comparisons. A really good chef for a dad, a really good tennis player for a dad in Prince of Tennis. There's a lot of comparisons. I really want you to watch some Prince of Tennis now, because I feel like there's so many comparisons now that I'm thinking about it between the two. But then I've always said that Food Wars is basically a sports anime, but instead of sport, it's food.
Essentially.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I've enjoyed this more than any sports anime that I've watched so far.
Yeah. It is done really well. And there's so much humor throughout the show. It's even in the parts where you're really sad stuff is happening, it's always done with something on screen that is just hilarious, when you think about it. And so there's never a moment in it where you're really sad or really you're very desperate for them to win and to do well. But there's never a moment where it's where it's completely, there's nothing, nowhere for your characters to go. You're just sad and in the depths of your sorrow and crying because it sucks. There's no moment like that. It's because even when it feels like that, somebody's in their underwear.
Yeah, or Soma's gonna say or do something stupid.
Yeah. There's a lot of fan service in this show, but it's done in a way to where it's very funny and it doesn't affect the plot line. So it's not I wanted these two characters to be together, so you have to make them together, so I'm going to change the whole storyline so that they can go together to please everyone. Or it's not I don't know, it is completely we're showing bodies of people because we want to show the bodies of people, but it's also we're going to show the bodies of everybody, and we're going to try and equate it to this magical superpower that people have that are related to food and bursting clothes. That's a whole situation. But
are we just going to completely skate over the hentai in the first episode? Are we just going to skate over that? Because I think that's just plot for plot.
There is plot for plot, but it's still funny. It's not done to get someone off.
I mean, you're right. It's done for humor.
It's jokes.
But
yeah.
As somebody who has seen that episode 4 times now,
yeah, I've seen it about that.
I've introduced it to 2 different part-timers, and I watched the English dub of the first season. And if you're going to watch this, do not watch the dub. The jokes do not sit well for the dub compared to the actual sub version of the show.
I didn't even know there was a dubbed version, if I'm going to be honest.
It's on Hulu. I don't recommend it. Stay as far away from it as possible.
Okay.
But, because I watched it for science, and science has failed me. But, that first episode, it doesn't sit right with me anymore. I think the first time I watched it, I probably lost my shit from laughing. Because I started Food Wars right before the second season started, which was a great time for me to come into the show. But so I binged it all. I probably thought it was hilarious, but watching it back through, showing it to my part-timer sitting at work, having it pulled up on the iPad, volume turned all the way up, that squid, I was just oh my God.
There are a couple moments where there are tentacles going in the direction of private places, but
hentai.
I will say, yeah, it is. I mean, it's not actual hentai.
No,
but
it's not.
I still think it's funny. I don't know. I don't think that the first season is the best season.
I think it's the weakest out of all 4 seasons. It definitely sits at the bottom, but that's also because the show progressively got better. It's 100%. we've talked about this whenever we've talked about My Hero Academia and other long running shows. Typically, and this happens a lot with live action shows or whatever you want to call them, how they progressively get worse as they go on most of the time. Game of Thrones, for instance. But Food Wars drastically stepped their game up with everything to where, especially going into season 3, you chomped at the bit for the next episodes to come out. And season 4, the way they ended all of those episodes, I was pissed having to wait a week for the next episode.
Yeah. Yeah, I 100% agree. I think that season 3 is probably my favorite. I know you said that yours is season 4.
Yeah, it was definitely season 4 just because I was constantly on the edge of my seat. And sitting back, I also think that's whenever the cooking was at its best. But season 3, it's such a close run for my favorite because of everything that happens in 3 with the plot twists and everything.
I think we should go ahead and, if you want to talk about the background, then we'll go ahead and throw out the spoiler warning, and then we'll get into properly why we chose season 4 and season 3 as our favourite seasons, before we then go through each season individually.
Okay, so Food Wars was initially a manga. It began its initial serialization. It's a shonen, so that makes a lot of sense as to why it's done the way it's done, and it actually ran in the Weekly Shonen Jump.
That doesn't surprise me.
It began in November of 2012 and just finally ended in August of last year. It actually officially ended with its English print earlier this year. So all of it is available on Viz if you don't want to go out and buy all 36 volumes of the manga. You can read it for, I think it's like $2 a week is what I'm paying for Viz. It's all on there, 315 chapters?
Yeah.
It's all available on there.
I actually think that I want to add this one to my collection. I think I want to get the full manga and have it in my collection because I really enjoyed it.
Oh, I definitely will. I think the Barnes & Nobles in Chattanooga has all the volumes. I really want to go and clear it out, but that's $10 a book.
Yeah, I'm going to wait and see if I can find it secondhand somewhere.
See, I just want to buy it all new. That's what I did with Dr. Stone. I'm surprised I got it at the deal that I got it, 11 volumes for $70. Honestly, what I thought about doing with Food Wars, since I intend on reading it digitally, is I found a deal on eBay to where I could have got all 36 volumes in the original Japanese print for like $200.
Oh.
I'm really tempted to buy that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's its run on the manga. The show initially started in April of 2015 and is still running to this day. Season 5 is the last season of the show. The studio that made it was JC Staff. Some of the stuff that they are known for, they didn't do any like really popular series until 2008 with Toradora. Or at least that was the first one going through that I recognized. And then they did The Pet Girl of Sakura-so, which is hilarious. I highly recommend watching it if you want a funny slice of life. Is it a rom-com? I don't remember. It's been a minute since I've watched it. But this is also, and you'll know this one, this is also the studio that did Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon.
Ah, okay.
I'm so excited for season 3.
Yeah, me too.
But outside of that, another recent big title that they did was Angels of Death.
Okay.
Date Alive Season 3. One Punch Man Season 2.
Oh, okay.
And this is the one that I found most odd out of everything that they've done. They did the film for Konosuba.
Oh, okay.
I was thrown off by that one. I don't know why, because they didn't do either of seasons 1 or 2. And I don't know if they're going to be doing season 3. I don't know if season 3 is in the works. It needs to be, because I have so many questions that I need answers for. But I just found that odd. Like, why would they outsource the film?
Yeah.
Now, granted, they stuck with the art style. They stuck with the humor. Actually, I think the film was funnier than the show. Like, I laughed more consistently through the film. But yeah, I don't know. And it was directed by Yoshitomo Yonatani, maybe? I think that's right. But he didn't have any major works to his name that I could pull up. He's directed, I think, 6 or 7 other titles. And for anybody that's interested in reading the manga or trying to get caught up to current day, the end of season 4 goes through chapter 265 in the manga. So anything past 265 is all new stuff. Yeah, that's all the background info.
Cool. So, because of how much I want to just get into this, I'm going to check out that spoiler warning. So yeah, if you have not seen seasons 1 through 4 of Shokugeki no Soma or Food Wars, we are going to try and go through season by season by season, so I don't want to really spoil anything from the later seasons yet. So if you've only seen the first season, we're going to try and, not spoil the second, third, or fourth season and only talk about the first one and then move on to each season individually. But just to let you know, some spoilers may slip through the cracks. So I'm going to put up a blanket spoiler warning for anything that happened in Shokugeki no Soma for all of the first 4 seasons. We will not go into the first 3 episodes that have been released of the 5th season. So if you haven't caught up with the latest season, don't worry, we won't be spoiling that. But yeah, the first 4 seasons are what we're going to be talking about now. So spoiler warning for all of them, even though we are going to try and segment them down.
Okay, I got this.
Okay.
Season 1, plot. Season 2, fall selections. Season 3, trains. Season 4, Team Shokugeki.
Yeah.
I've literally covered everything.
Podcast ended? Okay, so thank you guys.
No. You don't steal my outro. I steal your intro. You leave my outro alone.
Well, I'll let you think that.
Baka.
But yeah, so I will just say, my favourite season, I think, was the 3rd season. I know was the 3rd season. And I think that the reason why the 3rd season for me tops the 4th season is because I think that I prefer more outside of Shokugeki stuff, and season 4 is a lot of just Shokugeki after Shokugeki after Shokugeki after Shokugeki, which there are breaks, obviously, where they do, flashbacks and, stuff like that, but, for me, the 3rd season had a lot more character development to set up for season 4.
I can agree with that, and I think, now, this is one of those shows that all of the seasons, at least through season 4, take place in the span of a year.
Yes.
With, no major cuts. There's no, major time jumps. Now, it's not like ReZero to where it takes place in the span of, what did we come to the conclusion of? 3 weeks?
Yeah, something like that.
So it's not 3 seasons that take place or 2 seasons that take place in the span of 3 weeks, although it looks like season 2 is going to be taking the same route.
Mm-hmm.
But first 4 seasons take place in the span of a year. But it doesn't drag either.
No.
Now, watching it week to week, drug, especially season 4, and I think that's why season 4 is my favorite, because I watched seasons 2, 3, and 4 week to week from the time they came out.
Yeah.
And season 4 was truly the point to where I could not wait for the next episodes. They could not get to me quick enough. I was like, come to me.
Yeah, no, I do think the season 3 and season 4 definitely have a lot more of a grab immersion feel to them.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas season 2 does towards the end. I definitely think that, season 1 I still hold in high regard because of the fact that it is the foundation for which everything else was built off of.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I 100% think that it just gets better and better and better with every season. I do think that season 4 is still really, really good. I don't think that it's got worse from season 3 to season 4. I just think that the content that happened within... Because this is another thing about the show, is that the first season is, 24 episodes? The second season is 12. The third season is 24 again, and the fourth season is 12.
Mm-hmm.
So, the first and the third season are twice the length of the third and the second and the fourth season. And so for me, the fourth season obviously couldn't have as much in it because it's half the amount of episodes. And so I think that also does have a factor to play. The fourth season is so specific over what it covers that it's just more of an event in my mind, because the fourth season is over about 3 days.
And I will say, the only thing that I watched back for this episode of the podcast was season 4.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to be able to relive that all in one sitting. Because it deserves it. For anybody that's going to go check out Food Wars because of this podcast, I envy you for the point of being able to just binge all the way through it.
Yeah.
Because season 4 sucked to have to wait episode to episode. I've said that a lot, but it's because I truly mean it. There's so much stuff jam-packed into those 12 episodes that as you watch it, you'll see why. It's just nail-biting for all the episodes. Because this show is very similar to others in that it spares no expense of getting rid of characters. And that's definitely apparent through the latter episodes. Now, granted, happy endings and all that other shenanigans and nonsense, but it doesn't pull punches, just like it doesn't pull punches to hand Soma his first loss in the show either.
I wonder about that, about getting rid of characters, because I don't feel that it necessarily does get rid of characters. It does put characters into the back seat, but I don't...
Well, it doesn't kill them off or anything.
Yeah, like, they don't ever, like, never return again.
Yeah, but that's why I said happy endings and all that other malarkey.
Yeah, I feel like people kind of know it's a happy ending kind of show.
Because it's a shonen, but it's not a shonen.
Yeah.
Although the food battles are, or the Shokugekis are worthy of being shonens. Like, don't get that twisted.
Yeah, definitely. So let's jump into season 1. So season 1, like I said before, is 24 episodes. And we start off, a lot of plot. So we start off with Yukihira at home in his diner. A bunch of loan sharks show up. They try and get his store, and his dad's like away. And yeah, so in Yukihira's diner. And so he then ends up getting rid of the loan sharks, gets sent to cooking school, and that's like the first episode. Second episode is Erina judging his fried rice. And that scene of that appears so much more. That, like, you don't think that episode 2 is going to be that impactful, but it's really important to the rest of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Which I like callbacks like that. That was a good callback.
Yeah.
Episode 3, The Chef Never Smiles. Opening ceremony speech, where it's, again, callback from that. We meet Megami, and then there's, like, the salty sabotage with the honey rescue, which you tried? Is that the one that you tried? The one with honey?
Yes, and it actually worked out extremely well. It turned into, like, I used it in a pork roast recipe.
Yeah.
And it turned out beautifully. Like, I didn't follow it to a T because I gotta do my own thing and put it into a way that's gonna actually make it work.
Well, they never actually give you any amounts. Like, they don't say 2 ounces of this, a tablespoon of this throughout the entire show. So they just say, these are the ingredients. If you mix them together, this is what you get. But they don't give you a full recipe.
Which I even strayed from what they showed. But I will fully attest to honey with meat. And it really doesn't matter what kind, because I've tried it with beef and I've tried it with pork, and it's worked with both.
Mm-hmm.
So don't ever be afraid to take things from the show and, like, put it into action.
Experiment with it.
Yeah. Like, don't be afraid to just go at it, because it has given me my most tender roast recipe to date.
Yeah. So from there, then you go to Soma cooking to get into the dormitory. You find out more about Polar Star, and you get introduced to all of the dorm mates. Then you end up with Ishiki and the 7 seats learning about the 10 seats of the Elite 10. Shokugeki is also explained, and then there's also the unofficial cook-off between Soma and Ishiki, which results in a draw. And then there's Mito Ikumi challenging for the Dawn Research Club for Shokugeki, for Erina to take over. Then Mito versus Soma, with Soma winning his first Shokugeki. Then we end up with Camp and Inui Senpai, the Aldini brothers introduction, and Wild Duck, this whole situation happening. Then going to Crispy Crispy tea snack fried fish, and there being no winner between Aldini and Soma. And then we first get introduced to Jojima Senpai, which actually happened really early on in the series. Episode 10 is when he gets introduced in the first season, and he's such an integral character later on. But you know that he's going to be someone important, but, like, you don't. I don't know. I don't know.
He's such an odd character because he's so integral, yet he's in it so little.
Yeah, but he's doing everything behind the scenes.
He's just as integral as Soma's dad, and yet we never really see either of them.
I know. Or Erina's grandfather, like the original, like, he's barely in it.
Now, granted, his makes a little bit more sense because of his position on everything.
The director, yeah. Yeah.
But I don't, there's so many characters that I want, like, more information on, and yet we're never gonna get it.
I know. I want information on their just behind the scenes. I just want, like, an OVA on how they, like, I want an OVA on them watching everything happening from their, like, cafe or wherever they are, and just, like, on the phone or, like, Skyping each other, just, like, watching their kids with spy cameras, like, having this battle of Shokugeki that their entire life is set on, and these guys are just sipping coffee in the background, being like, okay, well, now this person's won this, then we're gonna move all the... and just playing chess with their own kids, because basically that's what's happening.
Honestly, though, I could see Joichiro doing that to Soma, like, having somebody tail him and, like, keep a constant live stream on him.
Yeah, honestly, and then just laughing at him from a distance, because that's the kind of dad he is.
Especially every time he lost a Shokugeki. Like...
his dad's just like, ha ha ha, you suck. And it's...
oh, it's so good. And yet...
it's so good.
It's also hilarious, because Soma has lost to his dad in Shokugekis. I think at present we're, like, at 493 times to 0 wins.
Yeah, it's over 490. I don't actually know the official number, but it's over 490.
I think it's like 493. I can't remember exactly, but I think that's
like
it.
That.
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes me laugh anyway. But from there, Megumi ends up facing Shinomiya, because she fails his test due to poor cauliflower. And then Soma challenges him to a Shokugeki. And then Soma ends up being best sous chef. That was really cool to see him. I really want to see him and his dad cook together. And just, like, I want to see him be peak dad assistant, because we never get to see that. And I know that Yukihiro is trying to surpass his dad, but, like, I want, before that happens, to see them, because you never get to see them cooking in Yukihiro Diner, like, at their peak together.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to see that. But anyway, I'm getting away from myself. Then there's the judging concluding, Megumi losing, and them scraping by with an unofficial win, and she's allowed to stay. They're allowed to stay. They weren't expelled. And then breakfast being served to the masses, and that's an entire episode. And then Soma gets in trouble with his souffle. 200 servings end up being completed. He survives fine. Yukihiro's dad visits, and this is when they find out that his dad was actually the second seat of the Elite 10 when he was in school, and Yukihiro didn't even know that he was part of the alumni. And then there's Soma versus Dad. Dad wins. Soma needs to revive his home's shopping district. Soma kicks weirdo ladies' butt. Harem? Question mark. Yeah, the a mystery guy. I don't know. I put mystery guy, but who is mystery guy? I have no idea. Spicy Sniff Dude is introduced.
I have never heard such a more fitting name for Hayama in my life. Spicy Sniff Dude.
Yeah, Hayama. I didn't write his name down in my notes at this point. I just put Spicy Sniff Dude, so we're gonna go with that.
Oh my god.
And the autumn elections begin. This is where we have a curry cooking challenge. Curry cooking. And the judging starting, the smelly curry versus the healing curry. Group A winners, we end up with Nakari, Alice, Hisako, Aldini, and Megumi also gets through. Then in Group B, we end up with 3 Polar Star members in the top 5, top 4 progressing, and it ends up being Hayama, Yukihira, Ryo, and Maori Zenji. And that is Season 1. So, questions on Season 1. Favorite Shokugeki?
Soma and Meat, but also Soma and Megumin against the teacher.
Yes. I agree. I really liked Shinomiya versus Megumi and Soma. But yeah, I also really liked the Dawn battle, the Battle of the Dawn Research Club, where we end up with the introduction of a very scantily clad character who's probably one of the most modest characters in personality.
Yeah, like she's so... You know what she is?
What?
She's a tsundere.
Yep.
Like, just, that's the most fitting character out of the show to fit that title. Because she's like, I'm gonna kick the shit out of you. Oh, he called me by my first name.
Yeah.
Like, it's, and she's, I don't know,
Then, like,
she's one of my favorite characters out of the whole show, though.
Yeah, okay. Who is your favorite dynamic? Because I think my favorite dynamic, or one that makes me laugh every time, is Erina and Hisako. Like, when they're, like, trying to be friends.
Oh, like, that's definitely one of my favorite dynamics, just because it has, like, such awkward GL moments.
Yeah. Like, honestly, I
and
kind
it's
of
not
ship
meant
them.
to be that way. Like, I know it's not meant to be that way, but it comes across as GL moments, and they're absolutely hilarious and adorable.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
honestly, I think my favorite dynamic is Soma and Erina.
Soma and Erina have a very, it starts off kind of siblingy, but you can definitely see where they're going with it.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I definitely, I think they have a really good dynamic. I also really like, Ishiki Senpai and his relationship with just everyone in Poland Star Dorm.
just the fact that he runs around naked. Like,
yeah, just all of his kohai. And just like whenever anyone first comes to the dorm and he's just in his apron, and they're just like, what is going? He is the seventh seat. He's like this powerful person, and when he's like not in the dorm, he is suave and business attire and a mastermind of everything. Like, he is so like looked up upon, and like he's this wonderful human being, and nobody would ever know. And then you get him in Polar Star, and he's just naked all the time.
And he can be scary with his cooking too. Whenever he gets serious, like, you're just like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Especially because you know he's this like free spirit of a character, and then especially like the team Shokugeki, whenever he got super serious, I was like, oh fuck.
Well, that's the thing, is that he rarely gets serious because his whole philosophy, his whole character is all about teaching his kohai, right?
Mm.
So the only reason why he ever got serious was because somebody was like being mean to his kohai, and he was like, not on my senpai watch, not happening. But like, that's his whole character is just basking in his youth. I don't know, he makes me laugh a lot. Favorite dish from season 1?
The chaplain steak from the Shokugeki between Soma and Meat.
Yeah. So, funnily enough, both of our favorite dishes are from season 1.
Mm-hmm.
Even though, not our favorite season.
My second favorite dish is the caveman dish from the team Shokugeki in season 4.
Yeah.
Because I want to eat that. Like,
I want to try Erina's souffle with the red bean paste.
Mm-hmm. I could
that she
see
named
that.
after Megumi.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just want to try everything. Like, even though there's shit on here that I'm sure that I would never
wouldn't like. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, I would probably hate that. But at the same time, I want to try it. And I even want to try the, like, black-haired witchy girl's food. Like, all of her soup looks like it would be what a evil witch
Apparently it's
would
really
concoct.
good, though. Like, people really like it. She's a good chef. It just smells awful.
It's like, I want to try it, because it's like black, thick soup.
Cauldron.
And yet, I want to try it. Like, there's nothing in this show that I just, like, think would repulse me. What I want to try the most, though, is cooking from the first seat.
Yeah, I do too.
Like, I think that's what sits at the top of my list of wanting to try, because apparently it's like so in tune with his ingredients. It's just like, I want to know what that kind of love in cooking tastes like. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Who do you think is the best character of season 1?
I would probably say Megumi, because I think she has the most growth out of the first season.
Yeah, Megumi definitely has. Yeah, she has a lot of growth.
Like, she grows a lot as a chef throughout the show. But I think the first season, she definitely has the most.
Yeah. Her and Takumi Aldini, they have the most growth that isn't like your Soma or Erina.
Well, I think a lot of Takumi's comes in season 2 after he gets beaten by the mimic character. I think that's where most of his comes in. Like, I think he grows more there.
Agreed.
But I love his and Soma's dynamic throughout the show, too.
Yeah, I
How
do
he's just like
too.
constantly like, I'm gonna kick your ass. And so it was just like, ha, you're funny.
I also love his relationship with his twin,
Mhm.
because like he's trying to like have a moment and his twin just like yanks him off, like, no, we're not doing this right now, and just like drags him away.
And I love that dynamic in characters in general. Like, that's always done in such a funny manner in
It
anime.
is.
I wish we could get more of that in real comedies, I guess.
Yeah.
Because that
Mhm.
dynamic is just wonderful.
Yeah. It really is very funny. Okay, so I think that wraps up our season 1 discussion. What would you rate season 1 out of 10?
6.5.
Okay. I am gonna rate it 7.
I think it's just because I've seen it so many times and just the amount that it's overly sexualized in the first
It
season.
is. Yeah.
Like, that's what drags it down for me, because it doesn't, I feel like season 1 was them just having a laugh.
Yeah, they were just like, there's no way this is going to be successful, so we're just going to make it crazy.
Even though
Yeah.
it's a shonen, but they were just like, we're just going to do it all and just get it all out of the way. And it really makes me want to read the manga to see if it's that bad in the manga.
Yeah.
Because if it is, fine. Like, I'll accept it and I'll give it a higher grade. We can revisit this at some point and I'll change my grade if it's in the manga. But I feel like they just did it to do it and show it off. Although I will say, like, their body animation and like the way their characters are drawn is top notch. Like, the background is not really a focal point in the show.
Yeah.
But the food and the people are like highly animated. So props to them, even on season 1, because I think it came out in like 2015, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's very well done.
Yeah, one thing I will say that I really, really enjoy about all 4 seasons of this is every time there's a break from a season, the characters come back and they've aged a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And especially after the end of season 4.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
that
when they become
jump.
second years, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So they're going from 15 to 16. So they're going from, or 16 to 17, something like that. Anyway, like, they go from like little characters to like looking closer to adults.
Yeah.
And I remember whenever I first saw that, because you weren't watching season 4 week to week at the time like I was. And I remember messaging you after the end of episode 12. I was like, Blue, oh my God.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
I was so excited whenever I saw that. I was like, that's attention to detail that more shows should have.
Well, they changed,
like,
they changed their look, and I really appreciate that. Even if it's just like Aldini, he goes away to a training camp, like everyone goes away to a training camp, but you don't get to watch his experience at his training camp, except in 30-second flashbacks when he's having a Shokugeki later. But in those flashbacks, you see him with a different hairstyle because he's had short hair because he's cut it over the summer and then it's grown out again. And by the time that they're back, and like those things, I think they're so good. Just like characters. One thing that I will say though is that Yuki's pigtails, they just disappear whenever she puts a helmet on, and it always makes me chuckle. Like, she puts a helmet on or a hat on or something, and her space buns that she's got on the top of her head just fit perfectly underneath, and I'm just there with all of my amount of hair just being like, that's not happening, that's not how that works. That is not, no, a helmet does not go on your head if you have space buns. Like, I'm sorry.
Or Isami, whenever he's been like working really hard, so he goes from like really big to a beanpole.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's like that all through season 5, at least to this point, humors me to no end. It's like he's permanently perfected the state of being thin.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. Yeah, that they established that at the very end of season 4, I think, that he was working at such a high level that he just like shrunk down.
Yeah, like he just manages to stay thin. Although whenever it happens in the first season, like whenever they come back from the stagiaire or however it's pronounced, they're just like, what happened to you? And he's like,
and it's just like, oh, it was hot, so I sweated it all out every summer. And then in the winter, I'll put it back on again. I'm like, mood.
And literally next episode, it's back on. And I was just like, that's great.
It's very funny. And the fact that you can't see his eyes.
Until he's like in that shrunk down, I'm just like, that's awesome. Like, this show just has so many minute details to it that I just, I really love the show. And I realize it sounds like I'd like to shit on the first season, and it's only because it's so overly sexualized.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, obviously they did that so that they could cause a reaction. That's what they wanted, so that they were a talking point, so that then they could get funding for a second season. And I mean, they did a good job of it. Like, they definitely captured my attention in 2015 when I watched the first season, you know? And yeah, okay, it doesn't necessarily hold up as well in comparison to the later seasons now, but I still think that if you didn't have that there for the first season, then these later seasons couldn't be established the way that they were. So I do have respect for the first season in the sense that it is the foundation for everything else. But yeah, it doesn't hold the test of time to even what the second season does.
Yeah, definitely not. Now, I like how they've still kept it. Like, they still have the over-sexualization in later seasons, but it's actually used to prove a point, not plot.
Yeah, and it is used to also relieve some tension because things get serious in the later seasons, and just using that, like, nudity in that sense allows a comedic element to even the darkest scenes.
Like, especially whenever it happens to Erina's grandfather, and like how they explain that to him, like, because whenever clothes explode for everybody else, it's just like it's an internal like expression of how they're feeling.
Yeah.
And yet whenever Erina's grandfather does it, it actually happens. Like, the whole top half of his gi just explodes off.
Yeah. We need to talk about that later because, like, they have magical powers.
This is fantasy slice of life.
Yeah.
Like, just because of the magical clothes exploding that we learn about in season 4.
Yeah.
It's great. It's hilarious, but it's great.
It is. But anyways, let's jump into season 2, which I really enjoy how the seasons are. It's just Shokugeki no Soma for the first one, but then it's the second plate, the third plate, and it ends up being like a course. I really enjoyed that. I thought that was a small detail that they did with the titles that I enjoy. So we start off with Yukihiro Soma versus, not verse, is Alice, who is Erina's cousin. And their topic is bentos. Autumn elections round 1, Soma wins. Then you got Megami versus Kurokiba Ryo with the subject of ramen. And then you have Kurokiba Ryo wins. Arato Hisako versus Hayama. Akiri hamburger. Hayama wins. Takumi Aldini versus Mimasaka Subaru, and he loses the Mezzaluna. And then Yukihiro versus Mimasaka for beef stew, because Aldini loses. Yukihiro ends up winning that fight. Then we end up with Kurokiba versus Hayama with a no winner, so it ends up being a 3-way final. Fish judging / aging happens. They all go to the fish market, fish tasting. Yukihiro ends up gaining, because everyone's still pissed at Yukihiro all the way up until episode 10, season 2. The entire school is still pissed at Yukihiro because of what he said as his transfer student speech. Everyone's still mad at him until right now, where he ends up gaining some respect because the winner ends up being Hayama, and Yukihiro ends up placing second along with Kurokiba. Then there is the Stargier, I don't know how you say it. French was never my forte, okay? Is forte French? Did I just say French is never my forte and then forte is a French word?
Look, okay, I don't question what comes out of your mouth anymore. I just know.
I question everything that comes out of my mouth. I just don't hear 90% of it.
Friendship.
Friendship. Yeah, so then it's fixing up the family restaurant. The one with, like, the bullet train, where everyone was coming off the bullet train, and they're rushing to the restaurant, and they were leaving. And they were rushing to the restaurant, and they were leaving. And Arato is feeling really sad because of the fact that she lost Hisako, and she doesn't feel like her and Erina could be friends. But then they make up, and they're adorable. Yukihira works hard at Shino Miya's new restaurant in Tokyo that he is just launching, and then the end of the season is Soma competing for a menu spot, and he effectively kind of levels up, and that is season 2 in a very quick nutshell.
Mm-hmm.
So, questions. Favorite Shokugeki of season 2?
I mean, I guess it sits with Yukihira and Mimasaka.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, I don't know, like they just had a way of building that to the point where it actually made you think that Soma had a chance of losing.
Yeah.
Even though we all know main character is not going to get expelled. Like, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
But still, like I said, they made it apparent from the beginning that they were never going to make, or like they had no problem making Soma lose.
Yeah.
Like, oh, maybe, but no. But it was good. What about you?
I agree in the sense that that is a pivotal turning point for Mimasaka, who then becomes more integral later on in the story. A couple of times, actually, he becomes quite important to Yukihira and his advancements. I also really like the fact that you get to see this being like the turning point for Aldini as well. And he then, that gives him also another reason to target Yukihira other than just them having the initial fight where they were away at the training camp and they just like challenged each other and had a little tiny Shokugeki for fun. This then gives them like a more serious grounds for their rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that that is very integral to the later parts of the story. But I also really like the Soma versus Alice bento box one.
Yeah, that one was also good, but I don't...
And then, of course, there's the three-way final, which was where you see Yukihira lose for the first time other than against his dad.
Mm-hmm.
Which then, for the next 2 seasons, sets you up of a, is Yukihira gonna lose? Because they've already made him lose once before kind of feeling.
And it was like a big loss, too.
Yeah, it was.
Like, to this point, it was the biggest Shokugeki that they had.
Yeah.
And Soma visibly got his ass handed to him. Like, he was third place out of that 3-way.
Although, yeah, not officially, but yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you get to see his dad laughing at him.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also another thing, is his dad had said, when his dad came to visit, his dad had said, don't lose to anyone but me. And then the next big thing, the next big competition that Yukihira goes through, he loses.
Although he did technically lose to redheaded stepteacher.
Yes.
Because he and Megumin technically lost, but Dojima was just like, I give him another chance.
Yeah. But was that before or after?
Yeah, that was season 1.
Came? My notes are separated because I reviewed another anime in between, and so I have to go back from season 1 all the way back pages.
Did you just take a break and start watching My Little Monster in the midst of all of this?
No.
Oh. Just the way you answered that, just no.
Yeah. So Yukihira had lost. So this is the next fight after his dad came. So his dad comes, then he starts in the autumn elections, and this is the first loss that he experiences after his dad tells him, "Don't lose."
Yeah, but his dad didn't know that he actually lost to the teacher. Like, he never told his dad that.
Yeah.
So that's why I still count it.
I can still count it. That's true. Okay, favorite dish from season 2.
All of them from the 3-way.
Yeah.
Like, they all just look so good. And also Soma's dish that he made against Mimasaka as well.
Yeah, the beef stew.
Mm-hmm. Because I love me some beef stew, especially over rice.
Yeah. And the hamburger was really good as well. Mm. Hisako and Hayama's take on hamburger.
Mm-hmm.
From their Shokugeki.
Everything
the ramen!
in the show I just want to eat.
The ramen! Megumi versus Kurokiba's ramen.
Oh, yeah. I almost forgot about the ramen, but it's so good.
Yeah.
Like, how much of you and I, like, just spoke about ramen?
Honestly,
like, I think about a quarter of our texts to one another have been nothing but about ramen.
Yeah.
Like, pictures of ramen, talking about ramen. Like, our friendship is built off of ramen.
Yeah.
In fact, you and I will have to one day have a Shokugeki over ramen.
Yeah, I mean, good luck trying to make a vegetarian ramen.
I mean...
Oh my god, my stomach just growled so loud. This is why we need snacks.
Oh.
Okay. Which character do you think had the most growth during season 2? Best character of season 2.
Aldini had the most growth.
Yeah.
Although, like, this is where you start to notice Erina start cracking a little bit towards Soma, even if it's just a little bit.
Yeah.
So I can appreciate that as well.
Yeah.
But there wasn't, outside of Aldini and just that little bit with Mimasaka, there wasn't a lot of growth.
No, there isn't. Arata. Hisako. When she went and, like, she was like, I can't talk to Erina anymore. And then she goes to Shinomiya's and, like, regains her... No, she didn't go to Shinomiya. She goes to the family restaurant and, like, regains her respect for herself and her own cooking and, like, learns about herself.
Yeah, but I think she has more growth in season 3, though.
She does.
Because I think her and Erina
very
both
shadowed by Erina's growth in season 3. Yeah,
but still, I think it's more... I don't know. I feel like there's more in season 3, even though season 3 is entirely about Erina's growth.
Yeah.
Like, season 3 is basically the Erina arc.
Yeah.
Or at least the first half. The second half, not so much.
No.
It's more... I think the second half of season 3 is basically just death and destruction left in the wake of everything.
Yeah, and Hayama.
Yeah, definitely Hayama, but I feel like his growth more or less came in, like, the last couple of episodes.
Yeah.
So even though he had, like, a metric shit ton of growth, it still,
happened very
like,
quickly.
So quick. It's like, oh, hey, you just got your ass handed to you, but you're better because of it.
Yeah.
Like, it was a humbling moment of growth for him.
Mm-hmm. So...
Season 3.
So season 3 is Autumn Festival, which... The Moon Festival. And then this is where we're establishing the Chinese food rivalry setup with Kugo-senpai, and this is where we start to learn about more of the Elite 10 and more of the members of the Elite 10, because up until this point we've only really known Ishiki-senpai, Erina, and that's kind of it.
Yeah, and this is also where you,
members.
Like, learn how much power the Elite 10 has as well.
Yeah, because you're told that they run everything at the school, but you don't realize that they actually run everything at the school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you find out real quickly why.
Yes, yeah. So then it starts off with just them learning about spice balance, Soma learning about spice balance and setting up his booth, challenging Kuga-senpai, and his booth not doing well, but him getting ideas, getting the band to get the gang back together, and he ends up getting the sales that he needs, and then Erina's father shows up, the Elite 10 turn traitor. Erina's backstory is revealed. The new school system just sucks. Erina's runs away, camps at Polar Star. Shokugeki ends up being fixed, like you can't win a Shokugeki, because the judges are fixed. Then the Polar Star dorm gets raided, and then Soma ends up facing a member of the Elite 10 and winning, but not winning his seat, just winning the fact that the dorm isn't going to get knocked down, and changing Shokugeki back to normal, so he fixes Shokugekis. But then Central, who is the rebel force, are no longer rebel, they're mainstream, and now those guys are the rebel, kicks out all of the rebel Elite 10 members, including Ishiki-senpai and Kuga-senpai, who you just met. And then there is Ryo versus Kusunoki's Shokugeki established. Ryo ends up winning. He's learned spice. And then there's Shokugeki first seat versus Soma for, trying to get Yukihiro to be his assistant. Him turning him down and then losing and then realizing that he wasn't even slightly serious. And Central wanting to eradicate non-gourmet restaurants and him realizing that Yukihiro's diner is on the line. But then he ends up losing anyway. And Erina's dad ends up learning... Erina and her dad learn who Yukihiro's dad is. And Soma's dad is. And the fact that Erina, knew him when she was young and that whole circumstance. And then Soma ends up feeding Erina to cheer her up. And then we have the Hokkaido exam trial beginning. First exam, they're passing the first and second exam. Making memories in Hokkaido. I thought that was really cute.
Such a nice little slice of life moment.
Yeah, there is a couple nice little slice of life moments. Everyone ended up getting separated. Soma and Hayama. Soma versus Hayama being established. Hayama was basically forced, I guess his hand was pushed, into aligning with Central as opposed to the rebel force. Yukihira, their topic is bear meat, and they end up serving the bear meat, and then it's Soma ends up winning, but it's very, very close, and Hayama ends up regaining his heart back and like his passion for cooking, and then the team Shokugeki challenge is determined. Yukihira Diner is on the line. His dad came, put the diner on the line, and the rest of his career as a chef. Silent cooking training.
I'm out. out of all of the puns.
I even wrote it in my notes. I was so proud of it when I thought it.
You know?
Because they're on a train and they're training and...
I can't with you anymore. I'm just... you gave me shit on the last one for the one that I came up with. And, you know, I'm done. I am broken. This is the worst day of my life.
I'm glad that I can be of service.
I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, anyway, then Erina ends up standing up to her dad, kind of. The terms are set, and you end up learning about Joichiro's backstory. Team Shokugeki begins. Ishiki-senpai is pissed, and this is the first time you get to see him serious. And then he wins, and Yukihiro wins, and Megishima also won, and it was a sweeping victory, and 3 wins to start off in the Team Shokugeki to determine the fate of Central versus the Rebel Force, with Yukihiro Diner on the line, his dad's career on the line, the whole fate of the culinary existence of Japan on the line, plus Erina with her abusive father, her life on the line. You end up getting 3 wins to end season 3.
I like how they end it on such a happy note, and then you go into season 4 and you're just like, holy fuck.
Yeah, I'm actually really, like, what do you think about the fact that they started this on season 3 and then entered season 4 on the second round?
So it frustrated me because I had to wait. I think it was a year from the time season 3 ended to the time that season 4 started.
Yeah.
I was just like, you have got to be shitting me.
Mm-hmm.
So it was, it sucked, but I feel like it would have been better had they ended it on like a losing streak instead.
Right, of a winning streak.
Yeah, I feel like it would have left more anticipation going into it, but it wouldn't have made season 4 as good had they did it a reverse way.
Yeah, if it were me, I would have ended after Joichiro reveals his backstory and puts Yukihiro Diner on the line. Those are actually a couple episodes apart. Like, he puts the diner on the line, and then it's 2 episodes later that you learn about his backstory. But I would have kind of shifted that around a little bit. I don't know if that then doesn't follow the manga, but I would have had him revealing his backstory around the same time of them revealing that he put Yukihiro Diner on the line, and then ended the season there, and then started the next season with the beginning of the Team Shokugeki. If I was to clean it up. But I don't think that would work, to be honest. I think that's just the way that in my mind, that's a logical place for that to end. So that's where I'm going to end it, and then we can start. But I actually think that this probably works better because it's so odd of a place to end it, and it makes you really, like, anticipate the next season. Whereas I think in my mind, it makes it cleaner. But because it makes it cleaner, it takes away some of your, like, need for the next episode. And obviously, the next episode was a year from now, you know?
So, did you and I become friends around whenever season 4 started?
Yes.
Okay, so I could only imagine what the conversations would have been had we been friends whenever season 3 ended, because we had to wait a year in between.
Yeah, because I remember talking to you about... Erina finding out about Yukihiro's dad. And I remember talking to you and being like, what? Why would they end the episode there? Like, she just finds out and then that's it. And then I have to wait? Like, what?
Mm-hmm. Like, it was funny how our friendship was literally forged on this show.
Honestly, it kind of was.
And we're waiting till now to cover it.
I know, but it is a lot of episodes.
It's a lot of episodes, but let's not kid ourselves. We started prepping for this about a week and a half ago.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was a lie whenever I said I didn't watch anything leading up to this episode. I just skimmed through the episodes as quickly as humanly possible.
Yeah, my last 4 days I've watched all 4 seasons. Yeah.
Good on you.
4 seasons in 4 days.
Yeah, good on you. Because it's taken me 2 days to watch 18 episodes of Toradora, and I've been like absolutely enthralled with the show. So good on you being able to finish 4 seasons in 4 days. I feel like such a disgrace to the anime community right now.
No, I am, well, you know that binging is, I am a successful binger.
Yeah.
I am so good. This is probably not a thing to brag about, considering the amount of people that die for OP and EDs like you do. But I am so good at skipping them that I can get it directly to the title screen, to where like the episode name comes up right at the end of the OP every single time.
No,
without fail.
I can do the same thing. So, but it's only like it all just depends on how I feel about the OP and ED. Mm-hmm. Like Demon Slayer, I didn't skip an OP once because Goringe is just perfect. But I think the only OP out of the show that I didn't skip was season 4's.
Really? We're going to get into our favourite OP and ED later because I want to know yours. But I could probably gather from that.
Yeah, like that was the only one. EDs, I remember nothing about any of them.
Same. EDs did not make an impression on me, but yeah, we'll get into OPs later. So yeah, okay, favourite Shokugeki of season 3?
Soma and Hayama.
Oh yeah. Well, this is where you get to learn that the stripping, what is it that I don't remember the name of the technique, the clothes shedding magical thing isn't just part of the Nakari bloodline. Also, you gain it if you marry in, and that just
But also the fact that you find out that it's real. Like, it's not just like, imagination. Like, everybody just called it, like, a disrobing whenever Erina's grandfather did it. This is when you find out it's a legit thing. Like, clothes explode.
They explode. But the thing about it is if you marry into the family, you don't disrobe your clothes. You disrobe everyone around you if the food tastes good.
So, you know what this means, right?
Oh, no.
Because we're gonna talk about it probably by the time we're done with season 4.
Well, it's quite clear where they're heading with the direction of ships.
Yeah, and even though
he would not, that power is too much for him.
Because could you imagine if he could figure out how to take that and use it for evil?
But what if he did it with his worst dishes? What would happen then?
Oh, poor Megumin. And poor childhood friend that, like,
Oh my god, his dad would use it. You know that Jotaro would use it, and he would use it on, what's her face? Hayama's guardian.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there's so much that could happen. Oh, I have no words. I have all the words, but I have no words.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I also really liked the Soma Hayama match, but I also really enjoyed seeing Ishiki, like, actually pissed off and cooking seriously for the first time.
I think my second favorite was probably the silent Shokugeki.
Oh, yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, that was awesome to sit and watch, because watching Soma and Joichiro's interaction with one another was just perfect.
Yeah, they have a really good dynamic. So, most growth during this season, I think it's pretty obvious.
Erina, Hisako, and Hayama. Although I think Hisako and Hayama's are about the same.
Yeah.
And I don't even think Hayama's was necessarily growth. I think he was pressed. Like, he was cornered. he was pressed, but he, like, changed his attitude as well. Like, even though he was pressed, like, it was almost like he had actually turned himself.
Yeah.
But then his guardian was just like, hey, cheer up, slap.
Yeah. And it was just, I mean, clearly he felt incredibly indebted to her because of his backstory. So, yeah, I feel like it was just like a lot of residual guilt of being taken in and given the opportunities that he was given, and then trying to repay her, and then everything that he's doing to try and repay her falling through, and him not seeing what she truly appreciated. And then him feeling even more guilty because then, like, everything that she had worked for was destroyed. But obviously, Erena's backstory in this season, her backstory is horrible, and then her growth from that is very clear.
Because she, like, basically from season 1 starting, like, she was always cold and everything else, but you slowly got to see her warm up.
Yeah.
Like, it's definitely a shonen of, like, main character starts to grow on everybody and turn everybody around him good.
Yeah.
Like, I definitely would compare Soma to Goku in that regard. Like, it sounds weird, but it makes sense if you, like, compare the stories of the two.
Yeah, I do really like the way that Erina does, like, start interacting with everyone, especially in this season, because you get to see her kind of confused as to how to interact with people, because she's been so isolated previously that she just doesn't know how to, like, to talk to people her own age. And then she's thoroughly confused when they're being nice to her and she doesn't understand. And I really like how they do that. They didn't just, like, turn her nice and then, not that she was ever mean, I guess, she was just, like, bitchy. But they did it in a way to where it wasn't just like a flick of a switch. Like, she did have real progression, and it, like, even in the 4th season, it's only in the end of the 4th season that you get to see her understanding who she is as a person and her interaction with other people. And then even then, at the very end of the 4th season, you get to see her interacting with Hisako and still having issues with just how to interact with people her own age.
Yeah, because you take somebody who's been, like, sheltered and just kept away from society, and
taught to be harsh.
Yeah, and then you yeet her into the most, like, friendly bunch of people on the planet.
Yeah.
And she was like, that would be overwhelming. Like, you take somebody who's sheltered and introverted and then just yeet them into a dorm of the most, like, friendly brother-sister camaraderie out of the bunch.
Yeah, and she also has this superiority complex as well, because she's always been taught, like, she is the god's tongue, you know, she can discern the best food from anything, and she only can taste the best food in the entire world, and she comes from a long lineage of the best chefs and the director of the best culinary school in Japan, and she tells Michelin star chefs what's wrong with their dishes because of her god's tongue. And then all of a sudden you get this diner brat come into her life that is cooking things that are completely not by the book whatsoever, things that should not go together, using, like, packaged snacks in his gourmet recipes rather than fresh ingredients, and just acting like an idiot because he does. And you can clearly see how that just, like, shook her entire understanding of the way that the world worked and flipped it on its head. And then the person who created that understanding for her and that world, that she is the best and that food must be a certain way, then all of a sudden comes back into her life, who she's terrified of. And she no longer agrees with those ideals because of the friends that she's now surrounded by herself with, and the people that she's now, you know, her world is now surrounded by. All of a sudden, that person comes back and is trying to drag her back into that world, but she doesn't agree with those policies anymore, but she's still caged in this fear of being a child that was stuck in a dark room and told to throw away a dish that wasn't good because it didn't follow the recipe.
So, can you imagine how different her dynamic would be with Soma if Joichiro wasn't Soma's dad.
Yeah.
Like, that just popped in my head while you were going through all of that. I just got to thinking, I was like, I wonder if the ship would still be a thing if Joichiro wasn't Soma's dad.
Well, I mean, Soma wouldn't be the way that he is. But if he was the same person with the same skills, or like Joichiro didn't go and visit her when she was little.
Mm-hmm.
But her, yeah, I don't know, it would change everything.
Yeah, but now I'm just sitting here thinking, could you imagine Dojima as Soma's dad? I don't know why that humors me.
Yeah,
but it does.
It's I really like the way that Soma doesn't have like a superpower or such, because like you've got Hayama, who's got effectively God's nose, then everyone else having their specialty, Erina having the God's tongue, and Soma just being a diner brat and that being the only thing that's really consistent about him. And then you find out that kind of his superpower of cooking is the fact that he's the biggest sore loser in the entire world and refuses to back down. If he loses, he will just challenge you to another fight until he wins.
Yeah, but he's also the son of the greatest chef in the world.
Yeah.
So I feel like that has a lot to do with it too.
Absolutely. But, like, even his dad said that he didn't have any discernible talent when he was little. So that's all down to training and just the fact that he doesn't know when to stop.
And that was also, which you find all this out in season 4, but that was also the main reason that Erina's dad is the way that he is.
Mm-hmm.
Because he didn't want to see chefs go down the same path that Joichiro did.
Yeah.
Because it's like you have a chef who has won everything and makes, in their eyes, like what is perfection. Yeah. And yet they still keep moving forward.
Yeah.
I need that sort of tenacity in my life.
I know, right? Motivation for days.
Yeah, I wish I had that drive. My God.
No. Yeah, the fact that Soma doesn't get dejected every time he loses, like, that's insane.
Mm-hmm.
But he's so accustomed to losing. It's just, like, no big deal for him.
Yeah, his dad has kicked his ass 492 times.
Yeah.
And yet still just, like, gets pissy. Like, doesn't ever get down and depressed, just gets pissy, but will immediately go back to work after that. Like, this dude has fallen asleep in the kitchen working on recipes.
Yeah. Okay. Season 4?
Season 4.
Season 4. Okie dokie. We're starting off big with the second bout. What does that say? Oh yeah, we learn about how Megashima Senpai became a rebel. And then there's the perfect trace battle, which equals a loss. The cayenne pepper battle, which equals a loss for our rebels. And then Tsukasa versus Kuga. And Kuga loses, so it's now a 5 versus 5. We have 3 wins from the last season, 3 losses from the beginning of this season within the first 3 episodes, and we're now on a 5v5. And then it's Soma versus Saito, butter being the integral ingredient, Aldini versus Aizen with beef, and Momo versus Megami with apples. And then Megami training montage, back on the train, like a flashback. Apple tasting, that whole thing, and Megami losing 2-1. So she got 2 votes against her, but she got 1 vote for her. But then Aldini wins, so that's okay. And Yukihiro wins. So now it is a 3 versus 4 in favor of the rebels. And then we have the 4th bout beginning with Wild Rabbit, with Tsukasa and Ishiki-senpai. Then the Squid with Rindo and Aldini. Brown Sugar with Momo and Erina. Erina wins, and then the judges change, and Erina's dad ends up becoming the judge along with the 3 other ladies who are from the World's Food Organization or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Ishiki-senpai presents his dish, and Aldini loses. Then Ishiki-senpai presents his dish. Tsukasa ends up winning. Then it is decided that they are going to do the 2-course meal for the final bout. And then it goes through how Tsukasa was recruited by Erina's dad. And the kind of parallel between him and being the current first seat of the Elite 10 and Joichiro back in the day, and how they're both kind of going through, or they like he is going through what Joichiro went through of like being the unbeatable chef, and everyone saying like, and that kind of isolating them and making them, like, their mental, like, draining their mental health. And then Erina's dad then using that as his leverage to then how he then figured out to get everyone behind the scenes of the Elite 10 to then create the rebel force to make Central and then to take over the school that they're now fighting in, the whole shtick. And then there is their dishes are served, the Central's dishes are served. Yukihira serves a main course, and then they win! That's such a quick escalation of things, but that's how it happens. And then the last episode of season 4 is Yukihira getting decided to be the first seat of the Elite 10, and Erina becomes the new director, and Joichiro and Jojiro just ask Erina's dad out for a pint, and it's hilarious. He tries to, like, ruin their lives, and they're just like, it's cool, you want to go for a drink? It's... but anyway, that's season 4. So, thoughts?
Best season, by far. So, rating every season, too.
Oh, yeah, we forgot to rate them, yeah.
Yeah. Season 2, 7.5. Season 3, 8.5. Season 4, 9.
Ah, okay, so progressively better. I'm gonna go with, what did I say season 1 was? I said season 1 was a 7. Season 2, I'm gonna go with also a 7, because it makes me cringe a little bit.
I'm surprised most of the show didn't have you just go skip. I
think
plot,
it's because
skip.
it's so humorous that I don't mind so much. It's when it's, like, awkward that I can't handle it. But it's just, like, it's so normal that it doesn't really bug me. Like, they don't care, so it doesn't, like, I don't care. But if they cared, then I would care more. But the characters are like, yeah, okay, whatever. The food's good. Season 3 is my favourite season. I'm going to go with a 8.5, and season 4 an 8.
Okay.
Yeah. So slightly lower than yours overall scores. I think that's just mainly because I sometimes find the explanations of the food and why it's good to be a little tedious. Like, it doesn't retain my attention as much as it should do when they're talking about the reason why that particular dish was really good. I think that's purely because I have the attention span of
a squirrel.
Yes. And so I want to know more important information right away. As in, who wins? I can't handle them judging for so long. So
yeah, you know what? We're not covering another shonen because of that. They have to explain everything in detail. Yeah. Otherwise, how are they going to fill up a full 24-minute episode?
And I for some reason, but I love slice of life. But for some reason, yeah, when they're going on about how the food is just a lot, I'm like, you could have just said, I don't understand what you're talking about anyway. I'm not a chef kind of person. Like, I love to cook, but I just shove stuff in a pot and I'm good with it. You know, I'm not like, I don't care about your 7 different grains of flour. Like, I'm sorry, I don't.
Oh.
Like, when they were discussing the, is it the soba? Yeah, the soba noodles. Mm-hmm. And they were going through, and there's 3 different grains of the specific soba noodle buckwheat flour, and if you use this one, which only has one part of the flour corn thing, the shell, then this makes refined flour noodles. And I'm like, I don't care.
And you see, here's the thing for me, as somebody who has such a passion for cooking, like, I was enthralled with all that information. I was like, I can make my recipes that much better. Like, I had a ball watching all of it. It's so much fun. It
might also have to do with the fact that they're recipes that I'm never going to make, because of the fact that the vast majority of these recipes are heavily meat-based. Yeah. So, yeah, it's just, like, irrelevant information for me.
Sucks, I guess.
Yeah.
I will be able to enjoy... Fuck, I can speak. I will be able to enjoy all of the meat dishes.
I would genuinely be interested in seeing them do some things that aren't as meat-based. I know that Japanese cuisine is so meat-based, so everything is... I mean, cuisine all over the world is meat-based. But yeah, I want to see them make a vegetarian dish. Like, come on, guys.
They had one. That like 7-layer vegetable thing.
Oh,
it's
great.
season 1.
Did that use gelatin? Because if it used gelatin, then it wasn't vegetarian.
I don't know. You know what I do know, though?
What?
Dunkin' has a phenomenal Beyond Meat sandwich. It's like Beyond Sausage, so
Dunkin'
it's vegetarian.
Donuts?
Yes, and it's delicious.
The Beyond Meat?
Yeah, it's like Beyond Sausage sandwich.
Tim
Oh,
has
it's
it too.
so good.
Tim Hortons had that for a while too.
Mm.
But it was just a temporary thing. I don't know.
I don't know. Dunkin' has kept it, and I'd rather enjoy my iced coffee and Beyond Sausage sandwich.
I do love Beyond Meat. They make some really good fake meat.
Yeah, as somebody who tried to be vegetarian for a little bit,
Yeah,
that kind of kept me going.
you were so unsuccessful.
That gave me life. Look, okay, I had tragedies happen in life, and therefore it caused me to binge eat.
Yeah.
Look, okay, we went to Chick-fil-A and spent $44 on mac and cheese. Did I ever tell you about that?
No, you didn't. That's a mood.
Yeah, so my grandmother passed away. Aww. Another friend of ours had like a really harsh breakup, I guess. I don't know. And so we went through the drive-thru of Chick-fil-A. We pull up and we asked the guy, because Chick-fil-A has mac and cheese now, and it had just recently become a thing around that point, or like shortly beforehand. So we asked the guy, we're like, how much mac and cheese can we buy? And he was like, we have small, medium, and large containers. And Abby asked the guy, she's like, no, you don't understand. How much can we possibly buy? And his face, you could tell we probably just ruined his whole day with that question. Even though it was genuinely, it was a genuine question. We wanted to know because the three of us were all going to chow down on some damn mac and cheese. So we got like 5 large bowls of mac and cheese. I think we got like an 8-count nugget and a large sweet tea. We spent $44. It was a blast. And then I dropped $36 on a cookie cake for a friend of ours.
Gotta love cookie cake.
Oh, cookie cake is about the only sweet that I will like partake in. But it was funny because we did all this on the same day. And so it was a spur of the moment buy, but I called the Great American Cookie Place in the mall. And I was like, hey, we need a cake. They're like, okay, what do you want it to say? And I thought about it because we were going to have Eric go pick it up. And I thought about it for a second. And I want you just to take it, cover it in pink icing all the way around it, put a giant heart, and just put Eric in the middle of it.
That's funny.
Oh, yeah. So he went to pick it up. And so he told the dude the name on it, and dude opens it up and he's like, is this what you were after? And Eric said he just laughed in the dude's face. So by far best $36 I've ever spent, but that's a day I will never forget just because of the random hilarity that went on.
That's funny.
And also the fact that we managed to spend $80 in food on one day.
I mean, worth it.
My face hurts just from talking about that because that's such a fond memory and I love it so much. I don't even know why I got off topic about that.
I don't know.
That was a day. That was fun. Anyway, best Shokugeki out of this season.
Erina versus Momo.
Oh.
Was the brown sugar one. Because it was so sweet with her and Megumi crying. That was cute. I don't know if I consider that best, but definitely up there. What was yours? What's yours?
So this wasn't necessarily the best, but I'm going to talk about it. So could you imagine having to do an entire Shokugeki based off of butter?
Yeah, true.
Like, whenever I heard that, I immediately thought, okay, somebody's dying from a fucking heart attack. But honestly, it was the Shokugeki between Soma and Erina against...
Yeah, the final fight is just... I mean, it's class, right? It's the epitome, it's what everything's led up to, it is... And it does sway things. I don't necessarily know if I consider it a Shokugeki, though, in my mind, because it's just like the final the final fight, but that's hilarious.
You shouldn't have corrected that. You should have just kept going. That was perfect.
It's just like the final bite. It kind of is though. If you're going to equate it to anything, it is the bit where you take the bread and you mop up all the leftover sauce and nom on it.
I mean, there's nothing better than going to a Charlie's and getting their potato soup and just mopping the entire thing up with their rolls. That's class. Potato soup and bread in general is just a combination of the gods.
I really like when you get those bread rolls and they cut the tops off and then they scoop out all the middle of the bread and then they put the soup inside the bread roll and then they put the top of the bread back on.
So my guilty pleasure is getting chicken Alfredo in a bread bowl from Domino's. Because there's just something satisfying about having a giant fucking bowl made out of bread and it just being filled with pasta, sauce, and cheese.
Would you like some carbs? It's just, yes. I would like all of the carbs.
It's just, I understand why America has an obesity problem, but I'm okay with it because bread bowls.
I don't know where bread bowls originate from.
I don't know either.
Somewhere in Europe, probably. Blame it on the Italians and their delicious food. How dare they?
Fresh mozzarella is just, so good.
Anything Italian. It just sounds good. Tagliatelle, fettuccine. You know, it sounds good.
Oh, yeah. I just want to go take a trip to Italy and just have, like, authentic Italian food.
Yeah.
And not Olive Garden.
Yeah.
That's the closest thing you get to authentic Italian around here.
I want to go to Italy and experience their coffee.
Ooh, yeah, that would be good.
Yeah, and their desserts. Their rich chocolates.
Honestly, being able to go to, like, Colombia and try coffee there. Can we just go on a worldwide coffee tasting tour?
I'm down. And then we could do a worldwide tea tour.
Yes, except that would, would that be classified as cruelty?
It depends.
Just the level of silence. Like, I'm not sure if you were just, like, breaking apart on the inside on that one.
You know when you have an involuntary eye roll?
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, okay. What else was really good about this season?
All of it. All of it was great. I enjoyed it.
Tsukasa versus Ishiki, that wild rabbit Shokugeki was awesome.
It was.
And the freaking I have an alligator.
Oh, just what's her name again?
Kobayashi.
Yeah.
Kobayashi.
So
yeah.
Kobayashi is probably like my favorite character out of this whole season.
Yeah. She's probably the most unusual in her physical appearance as well. Because she's got like the cat eyes and pointed teeth.
Honestly though, I could see her being Soma's sister.
Yeah, they have the same energy.
Yeah, like same energy, same color hair, like whole 9 yards. And she acts so much like Saiba too, to where I could just see it.
Yeah.
Like honestly, if that were a plot twist down the road, I would be okay with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so best ship out of the show.
Oh, okay. Well, considering that we just mentioned her, I think there's a good shout out there for Tsukasa and Kobayashi.
Yep.
First and second seat.
I don't even think that's necessarily a ship. I think that's an actual thing.
I think that ship has sailed.
Yeah, that ship has definitely sailed.
I think they're really cute. And whether or not they're just really close friends or something more, I don't know. I just really like the dynamic between the two of them.
Erina and Hisako.
Yeah.
I ship that.
Yeah, Hisako and Erina. But then you also have Erina and Yukihira.
And I mean, that's personally like my biggest ship out of the show, although
I think
Megumi and Sona.
Yeah.
Although, here's a thing that I think really should become a thing. Megumi and Takumi.
Yes.
I think that would just work.
Yeah, I actually like the idea of Megumi and... Oh, shoot, what's his name? Just evaporated from my brain. I didn't need a name. Who needs names? Oh, Ryo. I think that her being really soft and him, but then him and Alice as well, because he's her assistant. So, there's so many possible ships.
There's a lot of ships.
But then Alice and Hayama as well, because they, like, he always commenting on how she's spoiled, and they have her and Ryo have quite a sibling relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, but I don't know if that ship's technically already sailed.
Or Megumin and Ishiki.
Yeah.
Just because that dynamic would be absolutely hilarious.
I mean, honestly, like, Ishiki and Soma.
Yes, I am totally down.
Yeah. That's also, like, what about the adults?
Joichiro and fucking Hayama's guardian, whose name I can never remember.
Yeah, I didn't actually write her name down at all, but yeah, I think they're because he tormented her all through school, and I think that's hilarious.
Or Joichiro and Dojima.
That's true, but then also with Erena's dad.
Yeah, like that could just be a 3-way ship.
Yeah, just all three of them. Just you are now a polyamorous trio. That's how that's happening.
Or Joichiro and the monk.
Yeah.
Just because that one episode in New York where Joichiro's out on the balcony and the monk came marching in, I ship that.
Yeah, why not?
There weren't a lot of adults in this.
No, I'm trying to think of more adults. More female adults as well. It's very heavily male adult oriented. Because all of the female adults are just like judges or, you know.
And speaking of female adults, where the fuck is Soma's mom in all of this?
Yes, okay. So, we weren't going to mention anything about season 5, so I'm not going to say, but, like, at the end of season 4, I was so curious about Soma's mom. And I'm still very, very curious, because you just get a taste. You don't get much. But I am, his mom, because Joichiro was not gonna cook anymore. He was told, no cooking, get out of Japan, like, you need to step away from being a chef because it's destroyed your mental health. Like, they legitimately thought that he had possibly done something very drastic. They were running around searching for him, scared out of their minds, and then they found him and he was just, like, mentally exhausted. And then he leaves Japan, and then all of a sudden turns up 16 years later with a kid, and he's back loving cooking again, and then they attribute it to his partner, Yukihiro's mom, and she's just not around. And you assume that she's passed away, but it's never confirmed.
So many questions, not enough answers.
Not enough answers. Also, Soma's scar.
Yes.
I am curious.
Although I almost assume that's a cooking accident.
I also assume it is a cooking accident. I would like to see said cooking accident.
Yes, like, honestly, I hope it happened in, like, a Shokugeki with his dad.
Oh, that would be good character, relations of, like, his dad then feeling horribly guilty. And, like, because you never get to see his dad being really caring towards Soma to Soma. You see him being caring to Soma behind the scenes, but, like, Soma never sees it.
Yeah, I don't know so much.
Yeah, there's so much that you don't know. And then Erena's mom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot there to that, too, that we don't have.
Because her dad was a dick, but then her mom, like, because her dad married into the family. Her dad isn't, like, so he inherited the, I make other people burst their clothes off, although he did, at the end of season 4, burst his own clothes off.
And everybody else's.
And I was surprised that the whole auditorium didn't just get naked.
I think the whole auditorium did get naked.
Did they?
I think everybody got naked besides, like, Soma and Erina, and yeah, I think those were the only two that didn't get naked.
Yeah. True. And then just Ishiki Senpai just staying naked.
He was naked more often than not in this show, honestly.
Yeah. Like, it's actually quite jarring when you see him clothed, because you're like, wait, who are you? Oh, right, yeah.
I even think they referenced that at some point. Like, he was in his uniform, they're like, wait, who are you?
Yeah. Like when What's-His-Face takes off his glasses.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Shit, I can't think of his name. But he was honestly a hilarious character throughout the show, too.
Yeah. Everyone in Polar Star, the dorm, is awesome.
Honestly, I could watch an entire, like, OVA season of just Polar Star shenanigans.
Same. I really, really, really want to know more about the guy who you never see his eyes, who just smokes everything. And about this girl who just, like, is, like, the epitome of jarring things and wine and, like, alcohols, and, like, no one... Like, where's her bloodline? Like, I want to know her backstory, because apparently everyone that goes to this school are part of elite family members. Like, that's why it was so shocking when the Aldini brothers and Yukihiro went, because they're diner brats and, like, nobody else is. They're all from family lines of, like, high-end gourmet food. Or, like, associates of food, so they make ingredients or something.
And then also, like, free-range chick as well.
Yeah, Yuki.
And honestly, lady that's over Polar Star herself.
Yeah.
Like, I want background info on everything.
I want to know how the director, what he was like during his day, because he was the director of the entire school, and, like, it's been in the Nakari family line for, like, how many years? Like, what's his life?
Also, Dojima, I want more background on Dojima.
Yeah, what happened to him, because although he was the first seed of the Elite 10, he wasn't better than Yukihira.
And even redheaded stepteacher. Like, I could use some more backstory on him to know why he's so snooty, even though honestly, out of adults, he had the most character development out of the whole show.
Actually true. Shinomiya.
Yeah.
Shinomiya.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's so much more I want out of the show that I would just love out of spinoffs.
Honestly, yeah. I would love an OVA of Shinomiya and Dojima and Joichiro's crew back when they were in school. Like, I want to see the Joichiro versus 50 other people Shokugeki.
I think was it 50 or was it like in the hundreds?
It was 50 people that he versed in that one Shokugeki at that one time. But over the period of time, he versed hundreds of people because he just accepted them all.
That's just wild. But
but
a
he did a
50-person
team
Shokugeki. Like, oh my god.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen that. Honestly, I want to see a Shokugeki between Dojima and Joichiro too.
Yeah.
And also, why did Joichiro change his name?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Oh, there's so much.
And what happens to the diner? Because they were only going to close it down while he was in high school. But, like, do you really think that Soma's just going to be like, oh yeah, I'm done with high school, I'm going to go back to a tiny diner?
Yeah, because that's always been, like, his goal and ambition is to take over the diner.
That's true, but, like, it's Soma. Like, he's not going to stay a diner.
No, I think it's going to stay a diner.
But like, it's going to end up being, like, an amusement park of food.
Yes, like, honestly, like, Ferris wheels, like, honestly, so you know what's technically an amusement park of food?
What?
Besides buffets?
The sushi that goes around on the little travel.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Honestly, I want a restaurant like that, but like pizza or burgers or some shit like that. Or ramen. That would be amazing. Honestly, every restaurant should just be a conveyor belt restaurant.
A conveyor belt, yeah.
Because I think it's like,
that's what it is.
I think it's like dollar sushi that just comes by, so you just pick each individual one that you want. Oh, it's such a nifty concept. Whoever came up with that, good job.
I had it once when I was in LA.
Really?
Yeah, it's very amusing. It's just amusing. All of the bowls are different colored depending on the price, and then you can like order stuff off the menu as well. But yeah, it just like goes around and then you get them, and every time you get like a dish, your bowls, then you get like points or something. I don't know. I don't quite remember how it works. Or like no, your bowls stack up, and then at the end of the time, the amount of bowls that you get equates to like a gachapon, and you end up getting like a little prize.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Because of your bowls. So the more bowls that you have, the more gachapon, the prize changes.
Honestly, I could go for that because I feel like I could get a lot of points.
It's surprisingly filling. You think you're going to get more bowls than you do, but yeah.
I don't know. I have a really bad habit of like letting my eyes order more than I can actually handle.
Yeah.
The last time we went to Knoxville and went to a restaurant, I think I ordered like $30 worth of food and only managed to eat like 10 or 15. And I was just like, fuck, I hate my life. It was delicious, but I hate my life.
I have also been known to have eyes bigger than my stomach as well.
And I don't understand why. Like, it's not like I want to go out and spend that much money at a restaurant. Like, I don't intend to, but I'm like, this sounds good and this sounds good. And also,
and
I don't
this and this too.
Yeah, it's just like, I'm eating out for the first time in a while. I'm in a city that I probably won't come back to for a while. Like, why not? And I'm also never one to get dessert. The last time I got dessert whenever I went out to a restaurant was whenever I went and got ramen a little over a year ago, and I had that matcha ice cream. But my God, that matcha ice cream was like one of the most amazing dessert dishes I've ever had.
Yeah, I very rarely get gelato. Yeah, I was going to say I very rarely get dessert as well, except when I go to Italian places when I get gelato. But I just skipped the entire middle section of that statement and went right to the end.
I love when I get gelato.
When I go to Italian places, I'll get gelato because I like it. It's very small, and I have I don't have a very big sweet tooth at all. Like, you're the same as me. We much prefer savory food over sweet food. And so, I won't ever finish a dessert. It's too sweet for me. It's too much. Even if it's like a apple pie or something, like something that isn't stereotypically being incredibly sweet, I still don't normally finish it because I find it just too much for my palate to handle, which is why I like really little desserts that tend to be more intense in flavour. And that's why I really like gelato, because like you can get like cappuccino flavour or something, and it's just coffee, and it's like a tiny scoop, and it's really intense, but it's small.
If you ever come to the States again, I'm going to have to take you to my favorite coffee shop. Because they also make their gelato, but they make it all in-house. Like, everything this place does, they make it themselves. And it's not a chain. Like, it's the only store of its kind. And their gelato is so impactful with flavor. Like, I think the last time I went and I actually got gelato, I think I got, because it's 3 scoops, no matter what. So I think I got burnt sugar, lemon, and strawberry. And all 3 of those flavors just meshed so well together, but they were all like individual punches of their own. Where I was just like, this is the greatest thing I've ever come up with. Because sweet, sour, and strawberry sweet, but I consider it a little bit more savory, I guess.
Yeah, it's not incredibly sweet.
Yeah, so I was just like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
really
if you ever come
like
to the States, I have to drag you. Ooh, sorbets are also good.
Sorbets are so nice. We're just getting distracted and now talking about food.
Yeah, we're just talking about food in general. Like we said, we hope you brought snacks for this episode.
Yeah, honestly. Okay, so, overall, favorite Shokugeki?
Soma and Erina against Kobayashi and First Seat, whose name I can't remember.
Tsukasa.
Yeah, because it carried the most weight out of every Shokugeki, and it was the only one to where I legitimately could have seen like them just ruining the whole show over it.
Yeah.
Like, it just, I don't know. And also, I waited 4 fucking years for that Shokugeki, essentially.
Yeah, I have a couple little things that I'm not super keen on about that specific Shokugeki. Not that it's like a bad Shokugeki or whatever, because it is absolutely like the peak of when all of this happened. I just found that there was so much excess stuff in it. And this is me being with my ADHD and not being able to like be captured by things for a long period of time, and finding there's so much like extra information that like I like fill up on how much I can take in, and then I need to like process that for a second. And there was just like so much, because it was like they present their dish really quickly. The Central present their 2 dishes really, really quickly. And then Soma presents his, and everyone's going, oh my god, it's the main course, and he's supposed to have presented appetizer, and he's just put out a main course. What's he doing? And then they eat that, and then there's like an hour in between when Erina finally serves her dish, and then they don't eat it for forever because her dad is like, no, I'm not going to eat this trash, just looking at it, I can't even. And then so they don't eat it, and then so then everyone else tries the dishes, and then it takes like so long for the judges to just eat the food and judge it, and then they're judging it for so long. And I know it's supposed to be like this big epitome, like this thing that's supposed to happen where like it's supposed to take some time, but I don't know, it felt like my brain can't handle. I just want to know now. I want the information about who wins right now, and you're not giving it to me, and I need it. And I'm impatient.
Look, okay, you didn't watch it week to week like I did, lady.
I know, but
How do you think I felt?
I was impatient mid-episode. That's how I don't even understand. This is why I can't do week to week, because I'm so bad at, like, I just forget. I'm like, I'm sorry, if you don't give me everything right now, I will forget immediately.
All I want is a friend to discuss ReZero with. My life
All I want is a functioning
lie and
brain
disappointed.
that can handle more than 5 seconds of wait time between things. That would be really nice.
I am deeply saddened by the fact that I have no one to talk about ReZero with.
I'm deeply saddened by my own brain. My brain is sad about itself. How, like, meta is that? Okay. But yeah, okay. So we talked about shit.
Let me take a guess about which one was yours, because I have a thought, but I'm not 100% certain. Mm-hmm. The three-way.
That sounds... yeah. Oh, jeez, grow up.
Yeah, brain, gutter, get it out. I don't care if it becomes homeless. Get it out of the gutter.
I can't... I'm just giggling about that now.
Between me thinking that somebody's gotta be packing to now, just
you say the most provocative things and then just pause and just let my brain just think.
What else was there for me to add to that? It was literally a three-way Shokugeki. Like, what? And it's literally the only one, too. The only one. There is no other Shokugeki I could have been referring to.
I know, but it's
baka.
I feel like you end your sentences halfway through. I mean, I know I do this all the time, but you end your sentences halfway through, and then it just allows my brain to fill in the blank, and it's not good. You shouldn't do that. I'm gonna end up making somebody mad. Okay. I did like that Shokugeki. I thought that was it was really good. I mean, I don't like the result of it, but I did.
Why not? It allows growth.
I know, but like, I want main character to be OP. I don't though, because it doesn't make a good show. But like, you know what I mean.
It does make a good show. Look at One Punch Man. That's hilarious, or at least through season 1, or that time I got reincarnated as a slime. That's
true, but like it depends. For this, there definitely needed to be growth. I like. Let me think. I really like the Aldini Yukihira tracing dude.
The Mimasaka one?
Yeah, Mimasaka dynamic. Those two Shokugekis, probably Yukihira's, because of the growth that then was initiated from Takumi afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that.
I want a real Shokugeki between Soma and Erina.
I do too. I want Yukihiro to go against his dad again, and I wouldn't mind seeing Erina go against his dad.
I could see that.
Yeah. Or, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Team Shokugeki. Soma and Erina against Dojima and Joichiro.
No, okay. Dojima and Joichiro gather all of the people that were part of their Elite 10 during their day. You get the Elite 10 that ended at the end of Season 4. Battle.
But Erina's not part of that Elite 10.
She is the exception to the rule.
So who do you get rid of?
The Yukasa, Yakuza dude. I can speak. I can say words. It's fine. The Yakuza dude, the one who is a butthead who took the Mezzaluna.
Are you talking about Mimasaka?
No. Am I?
That's the one who took Aldini's Mezzaluna.
Oh, no, not him.
So Soma technically has the Mezzaluna.
Yeah, I know. The one,
You talking about the one that had all the money, that ran the company?
Him.
That, yeah, that's who I figured you were going to say, but...
I get there eventually.
Eventually.
Eventually. I just turned back to my notes and saw harem, ? And I'm like, fitting.
Although this very well could have easily turned into a harem anime.
Honestly, or a reverse harem, to be honest. Like, it could go either way. It could have gone
It really could have.
in many directions.
Uh,
Yeah.
So, does that wrap up everything that
I think
we wanted
so.
to talk about?
I know that we talked about some things that we wanted to... Let me just go back to our conversation on Discord and see if there's anything that I missed there. Oh, overall, best boy and best girl. Who do you think best boy and best girl are?
Soma, best boy, because yes. And best girl, Megumin, hands down. Like, she just fits, like, the ideal concept of best girl.
She does, absolutely. Soma, yeah, I think that he's a main character, so he gets main character. If you're not going with him because he's the main character,
Isumi, Takumi's brother.
Aw, yeah.
Like, embodiment of best boy.
Yeah. Yeah, he's kind of... Yeah. Yeah, I'm with that.
Because if I had to sit down and think of, like, who my best boy in the entirety of anime would be, it would be Deku. And anytime I think of Isumi, like, and think of a character to compare him to, it's definitely Deku.
Yeah, I agree. I want to see him do his own thing. I want to see him have a moment.
Definitely.
Yeah,
like,
he needs a moment.
Although I think the concept of him and Takumi having, like, a tag team Shokugeki and them being undefeated in tag team Shokugekis, like, is just top-notch quality stuff.
Me too. Agreed. Well, they are twins. Twins have psychic connections. I know this being the best friend of twins.
'Tis true.
I'm going to get a text from them later and just be like, hey, did you talk about us today? I'll be like, yeah, I talked about your psychic connection.
You guys are podcast famous now. Yatta!
I talk about them a lot on here. They just don't know about it. All horrible things, of course.
Of course.
Okay. We didn't actually pay attention to the EPs because they weren't anything to write home about, to be honest. But OP, best OP?
Season 4, hands down.
Season 1, first OP.
Really?
Yeah.
It's, I think, my second least favorite.
Really? Oh, I freaking love it. I love it so... I don't know if it's just because it brings back the memes and the feels, and I love that nostalgia, but you can't knock it. It's the opener. I love it.
Whenever I listened to it the first time of a rewatch, like, I got such, like, nostalgia breakdown. But because we were at work, so we were dealing with shitty Ethiopian internet, we couldn't skip it because it wouldn't, like, come back to us if we tried to skip it.
Right.
So I think it overplayed to the point to where the nostalgia very quickly wore off.
Did you find it annoying then when they included it in season 4?
No, like, I think it fit in season 4. Like,
yeah.
I love callbacks like
Me
that.
too.
Like, what was the anime that we watched recently that did that? Dr. Stone, yes, during the last episode. Like, I love when shit like that happens, because it's just such a nice callback, especially whenever they swap OPs and EDs.
Yeah.
Or I love, like, whenever they introduce, like, a one-time OP or ED.
Yeah.
Like, that stuff is also top-notch stuff.
Yeah. I can understand how it could wear off for you, but for me it still hits that mad nostalgia vibe. And I very much enjoy it.
Yeah, I completely forgot that we were doing that, so as we were getting ready, I had my headphone in and was listening to all the EPs. And I was just like, okay, baka.
Yeah, honestly, the EPs didn't make... But then I think you guys know that the OPs and EDs aren't a huge swayer for me as to what makes or breaks a show. But, yeah, I did really enjoy the first OP.
And my least favorite out of the bunch was definitely the one for the train arc.
Yeah.
Now, least favorite ED out of the bunch, I think it was like the second one.
The first season, part 2.
Yeah. I think the title of the song is Sexy Curry. I hate that one with a passion. I've never hated an EP more in my life. I can't say that. I probably have hated EPs more. Actually, the EP for Toradora, I hate. Now, the first OP for Toradora is catchy as shit, or at least the first part of it. But after that, bleh.
Yeah, I don't know. The EPs didn't really make much of an impact on me. Okay, who would you most want to have a Shokugeki with? Or against?
That's a tough one because all of them are just so...
Can I choose Joichiro? I want to choose Joichiro.
Okay, so we choose one adult and one student.
Okay, Joichiro.
Yeah, Joichiro, and then student. Honestly, I'm going to go with Megumin.
Yeah, just because it's like comfy food.
Yeah, like I feel like I could learn the most from having a Shokugeki with her.
Mm-hmm.
But also Erina.
Yeah. Although I'd be terrified.
Honestly, yeah, for her to try the food.
Yeah, like don't eat my cooking.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's who we're having a Shokugeki against. We never established that they had to try the food.
No, I would not. Megumi, she would be like, oh, you tried really well, even though she would thoroughly kick my ass. And I'm okay with that. I feel like it would be a fairly nice beating. But Erina, she would destroy me and my self-esteem would never recover. So maybe not. Maybe Yukihira, just because, like, at least you can say then you evolved his cooking, because he learned something from every battle he ever faces. So,
he learns what not to do.
Yeah.
Shokugeking us.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, Hayama, too, just because I would want to be in the same room as him whenever he cooks.
Yeah, honestly, just to sniff. And he specializes in curry, and a lot of curry is vegetarian. So I'm fairly certain that I could get a good meal out of that. And I'm always down for a good meal. You feed me, I'm happy.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Biggest blunder.
Biggest blunder? Okay. This is the biggest blunder in anime history, if you ask me. Takumi Aldini. He makes a pizza. He is an Italian, raised in an Italian restaurant, an Italian diner. That is his whole identity. Is that he is Italian. I wasn't necessarily expecting him to be like tossing the pizza dough or whatever, but I was definitely not expecting him to whip out a rolling pin and roll the dough. How dare they?
Yeah, Blue and I came to agreement on this, but I figured her rant would be better than mine. But also, if we're talking about the biggest blunder in anime history, that's Gun Frontier. But this is definitely second.
Gun Frontier is a whole thing. This is just like a section. It was probably 5 seconds, not even 3 seconds of just, my face just dropped.
Honestly, I really want to draw Pouting Blue that I already have, but redraw it and just put under angry blue noises.
Yeah, specifically for the moment where, because I mean, I don't know, pizza dough and a rolling pin, in my brain,
You just don't.
I don't know. I am not Italian. I do not specialize in pizza. I do specialize in bread making. I love to make bread. And I would never use a rolling pin on bread. Ever. Bread dough. Hands all the way. Even when you're braiding it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. What food do you want them to make next?
Mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese.
It's funny, I sent this to Brad earlier, and he responds mac and cheese, and I respond, I was thinking shepherd's pie. We are from our native countries, aren't we?
Yep, we are 100%.
I was like, and then it would be fun to see them do poutine, and it's like, okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But like, they don't actually do anything British, but I think that is to do with the fact that in anime stereotypes, British people cannot cook at all.
It's nothing but tea.
It is nothing but tea, and if they do cook, it is the most foul thing you've ever seen. This is anime tradition at this point. Look, British people can't cook. You see any anime where there is a British person, and you get them to cook something, and it will be disgusting. That is just, it's like law now.
Well, I feel like it's like stereotype lore in general.
Yeah.
Like the only thing you hear food-wise come out of the UK is tea and crumpets.
Yeah. Or like
that's it.
White bread.
Yeah. Like, that's it.
White bread, yeah. But yeah, so I would be interested to see them tackle some British cuisine. It would be hilarious to watch them try and tackle some haggis. Or black pudding. Or, some of the other interesting creations that we make. But then also seeing them do some, like, Yorkshire pies, some, Cornish pasties, some, shepherd's pie, cottage pie, a roast, just a Sunday roast, or, things like that are, like, that originated as British, but America has kind of also taken quite a bit of, like, the roast and stuff, like the turkey and that. America is. Although, is it true that in America, people deep fry entire turkeys?
Yes. And if you haven't had it, it's fucking delicious.
I understand the obesity rating.
Well, here's the thing. A deep fried turkey is actually juicier than a baked turkey.
Oh, it doesn't surprise me.
Honestly, though, since we're on the topic of deep frying shit, deep fried green beans are delicious.
Have you ever heard of a deep fried Mars bar?
I have, and I've also had deep fried Oreos and Twinkies.
Seriously?
Mm-hmm.
The more you know.
America.
I've never had any of those.
I haven't actually tried either of those. I've made deep fried Oreos and deep fried Twinkies because I don't even know how the fuck I got roped into helping at my ex-girlfriend's football game, like working the deep fry concession area or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know how, but I got talked into that bullshit. And so I got to make those, and that was... I have never looked at something and felt my arteries clog so much until that.
I am interested. I would be very interested to see them try and do poutine, though.
I can see that.
Yeah, because, like, I mean, the traditional is just fries, gravy, and cheese curds. But that is absolutely not what it is anymore. It's evolved into its own medium, like a pie. You could put anything on it. But that is the traditional. But I would be interested to see them tackle that as some French-Canadian cuisine there.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to see the Aldini brothers do some more Italian stuff, because I'm still mad about that pizza. Yeah, that's everything that we had.
Yeah, I think that covers it. I'm afraid to pull it back up.
Yeah, no, I checked it. It's everything that we previously discussed.
Cool. So, I think that wraps everything up for this
we
week.
haven't done our overall rating for the whole show.
8.
7.5.
I feel like we're always extremely close with our ratings.
Yeah, I find it so entertaining to watch, but there are parts of it where I'm just like, skip. Because it's just, I don't know, it drags out a little bit too much.
Yeah, it's just, I find it really entertaining. I think it's probably would it be in my top 10 of all time?
It would be in my top 10 of all time, just purely for, like, this is hilarious, I want to watch.
Yeah, I feel like it'd probably sit, like, at number 10 or number 9, more than likely.
Yeah, but I don't think that I would necessarily put it in my top 10 for, like, best anime ever. Because to me, that then elicits more of a artistic, the emotion. And you don't really get emotion from Food Wars. It's just a laugh.
Yeah.
But, I mean, top food anime of all time.
Oh, definitely best food anime of all time.
Yeah. My stomach, it's so loud. It's growling. We talked about food for too long.
I know what you're doing.
I'm gonna go stuff my face like a pig.
If it wasn't 1:30 in the morning, I would probably do the same.
I don't care the time. I would eat at 4 o'clock in the morning. I
would too, but then I have to worry about waking up the roommate, and I don't even remotely want to hear that load of bullshit.
Yeah, true. Luckily for me, everyone in my house are really heavy sleepers. It would take a marching band to wake them up.
And yet I'm the lightest sleeper that I know. And it's so weird considering how little sleep I get. So yeah, it is unfortunate. But yeah, so next week, are you excited?
I am excited.
Because I think it was you that recommended the manga of this show to me.
I did.
So, do you want to go into detail about what it is?
Okay. Well, so next week we're going to be doing My Little Monster, which is a rom-com, I guess.
Oh, it's definitely a rom-com, without question.
Yeah, slice of life rom-com. That has some questionable personality traits of some of the main characters.
Very questionable.
Yeah, don't emulate it as a real life romance, please don't. It wouldn't be healthy at all. It's fine in anime, but not in real life. But it is very funny to watch, and there is a very important chicken throughout the anime. So
Chicken is the best boy.
Chicken is best boy.
Like, honestly, throughout the whole show, I think that's my favorite character.
I agree. The chicken is best boy. So, if you wish to know more about said chicken, then you have to tune in next week.
Yes, and outside of that, I think that is everything. So, thank you all so much for listening. Blue and I greatly appreciate it. You can find the absolutely lovely Blue Lavender Monday through Saturday, except for Wednesdays at twitch.tv/Blue Lavender. Between 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, streaming a vast variety of things from Minecraft to a little bit of Spyro to a little bit more Minecraft. You can also find her on Twitter and
I forgot
Instagram.
my art streams.
Do you do those once a week? Because I was trying to make a joke about things that are like guaranteed consistent for once a week. I feel like they're once every 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, more like that. Because I'm lazy.
I mean, I know you just said a lot of it is just because you like don't want to force yourself to do it. It's something that you do as more of a hobby.
Also, I'm lazy.
Also, I mean, good on you for doing art streams because I still refuse to do that bullshit.
My last art stream was interesting.
Although, I will say, after watching Toradora, I did see the epitome of what a bunny rabbit in anime should be.
Aww.
So, I kind of want to send you that clip because I kind of want to see that drawn, even though you've already done a rabbit. I want to see you take a cute anime rabbit and draw it because it was literally the most adorable thing I've ever seen.
I am down to attempt, although realism is my specialty, but we'll see.
No, that's why I want you to take this adorable little bunny rabbit in anime form and make it real.
I will do my best.
I have faith in you. Please do it. Honestly, that's a really good idea for an art stream. Take an anime character and draw it in your style.
Ooh, that sounds like a challenge, but yeah, I'm down.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've tangented again.
Yes. So, Twitter and Instagram, Blue Lavender STM.
Yes.
And the best Tilly Bean.
Yes.
Because adorable doggo.
Adorable doggo. Also, Instagram, Twitter for the podcast, be at BnB Anime. Same for both. Brad runs the Instagram. He is posting memes. It's very funny. Please check it out. Brad no longer streams on Twitch because he sucks. No, I'm kidding. Because he
Baka.
Because he has so many big projects going on, and lots of exciting stuff. So, there will be more content from us coming your way, outside of streaming and podcasts and other kinds of stuff as well. If you would like to learn about those projects, you can find out more information on our website, where we also have an archive of all of our previous episodes of the podcast, which you can also find on Spotify, iTunes, whatever your streaming services for listening to podcasts are. And we also have them uploaded onto YouTube as well, so if you prefer to listen to them on YouTube, you can do that. We also have a YouTube channel that is associated with said YouTube channel with all of our archived episodes on, that just has some fun voice acting projects, and eventually it's going to have some outtakes from the podcasts, some funny moments, possibly some animations. We've got big plans for that, so, drop a sub. There's not much on there right now, but there will be in the future, and we're excited about what's going to happen on there. So, get, hyped. Get hyped, that is an order.
And if you're a sucker for awesome thumbnails, go check out the podcast on YouTube just for that, because those thumbnails are top notch. I adore those thumbnails to no end.
Yes, they're awesome. They're Excuse me for a second. I just malfunctioned.
Did we plug everything?
I think we've plugged everything.
Oh, Blue also has a YouTube channel for all of her art stuff. So everything that you see, or everything that she streams and or does in her spare time, will be uploaded there. And she also does TikTok.
Kind of. I regularly upload on both YouTube and TikTok art content where you don't see my face at all. You just see my hands and a piece of paper and a time lapse of 7 hours worth of drawing down to about 15 minutes and or 1 minute, depending on whether or not you're on YouTube or TikTok.
Hey, I gotta hand it to you. That's some top-notch content.
Ah, that's sweet.
You really nailed it. I can't quite put my finger on it, but that's good stuff.
Ah.
I'm sorry. I saw the opportunity.
You're
I'm a what? I'm a what? You have already thrown some pretty bad insults at me, so what do you got?
I'm just gonna keep you at arm's length. I think that's just how that's gonna go.
Okay. That's a bad one.
Anyways.
Thank you all so much for listening. Blue and I greatly appreciate it. We'll catch y'all next week for My Little Monster. But until then, bye-bye.
Bye.